told my friends, I've always told people in opposition that we need to have deeper strategies. You mentioned people that joined together, Nana Tajimaka and the like, those are scammers. And the scammers are still prowling around. If there's anything that we can do, we need Hopewell deported from the United Kingdom, because I think he was sent by ZANU-PF. He's only the only person who has not been looked for by ZANU-PF. Whilst they are busy looking for Geza, they have never looked for the person who is instigating a Zimbabwean government or a government in exile. And that is Hopewell.
I never thought about that. I never thought about that.
Yes, indeed, that's Hopewell. I mean, let me tell you something. Triple C was destroyed single-handedly. Now Hopewell. Chamisa haana kuzviona kuti the rug had been pulled from under his feet. Only recently did he realize and see kuti Hopewell was behind this whole grand scheme. Vanana Chabango, who we talk about, they are minors in the scheme, but they are actors or activists who carry the message of the strategists. Vanana Hopewell Chinono. We need to be very careful as Zimbabweans, and I always have told vakomana kuti vakomana ngative tichingwaririra. If we are to establish the alternative, it is much different from what was. Gati for me, in a different manner, with a different attitude, with a different approach. We've done everything ku grassroots. We've done everything ku grassroots. Ana Hopewell, vanotanga kuoresa kubva kumsoro. That is his mandate from ZANU-PF kuti opposition unoita. So that is Hopewell. That's what I can say. And I also am very grateful to my sister. You give a chronology of some happenings, things. I was discussing in the afternoon with a group of ZANU-PF sent people in the diaspora, and I was thinking, Kuti, what exactly is this? These are the people like Anna Hopewell Chinono. Tizia Kuti, ZANU-PF is not leaving any stone unturned. Imagine if they are going to say, we can on the philanthropists, and they would give double praiser. We need to be very careful. I would love Simba to come out a documentary like what Jazeera, with Al Jazeera on the gold mafia, because this is a proper huge mafia in the name of Hopewell. Tine mafia, tinema cartels, and this is one line ye cartel yatisingambotauri nezvayo. We can talk of my cement cartels, my road cartels, my tender cartels, can talk of my fuel cartels, my gold cartels, my other minerals cartels, my money launderers. Hopewell Arco leader, one of the bigger cartels, and he is linking them together from where he is. And they shifted him from Zimbabwe for no reason. Vakanomisa mu UK I ended that way. And you know what? Back then, he was appointed here and there, CNN and other, news channels, etc., and he's using that. Imagine kuti pakapera hondo yegorongoza, Mozambique. ZANU-PF asaina ma-SAS, vakaenda vakanoinfiltrata Matsanga, vakainfiltrata Renamo. They grew beards, aiita fanike ma-Mozambique, and they were fluent in Portuguese. Vaita ipapo, Colonel Dyke akazoita his plot plan. It was over years. Vakomana vachigrowa vachiita jeli Renamo. But Renamo yakazoshamsika yasaraundwa nemoto throughout Gorongosa. Don't take out like that. That's the kind
just
of...
hang on, Dada. I just want to say thank you very much for everybody here who's on the space. Thank you very much for joining Zim I and Simba Chikanza on this space. Dada G, thank you very much for for joining us on this space and so forth. This is a very interesting topic, Dada G, and I have a lot to comment on that. And I think please can everybody here on this space please share the live, please share the space. UK Embassy disapproves Hopewell Chinono's letter, and I know a lot of people have a lot to say about that, Simba. I'm so sorry about that because Hopewell, yeah.
They should call in and speak.
Yeah, already I'm actually I'm actually laughing because already I have already received 2 messages in my inbox, but it's okay.
Because you can't call yourself a journalist and you're not accountable. You can't call Nelson Chamisa and Emerson Nangagwa to account. You yourself, you have never accounted for who you are. Uri ani,
The thing,
you've
the
got
thing
3
is,
IDs.
the thing is, Simba. The thing is, Simba. He's saying that you are a joke like Gambakwe, right? So the point is,
no, Iowa Ngawuye. Please don't speak for him. Don't say anything that he says. Let him come. Let him call in. He has to account. He worked to destroy parliamentary democracy using the cover of journalism, trying to get favors from people who are corrupt. He's worked to destroy a lot of people, some even in ZANU PF. And of course, some of them were were corrupt. But things that he has been doing, looking at it, he wasn't even exposing anyone. He was just reading documents and then using the cover of journalism to hide his name changes. Mastake ayaya nemari dzakaita contradict money about his property wealth, that he has been harassing my youths, saying to my youths, you have to be like me, trying to mentor my youths, even telling people to dissociate from Nelson Chamisa, dissociate from other people, and follow him because he is wealthy, he has bought property, and saying that Chamisa doesn't have property. But when it comes to his own, the very same property that he's saying, you don't have a mortgage, you don't have a house, when he speaks about that, he cannot account for it. First, he says it was a cat's mortgage. I never used money. And then next time, as I never used foreign money, I never used UK money, I never did a dodgy deal. But later on, he actually does say, he actually reveals it was a dodgy deal. He himself, with his own mouth, he says that he illegally exported a sports car that he obtained on credit at the age of 25. That was to the value of over 120,000 British pounds in 1996, which then was the value.
Sorry,
No. Hold on, please. Hold
on. Please wait.
If I can just finish, if I can finish what I'm saying, or I'm asking him, please do not read anything. No messages will be read. Hopewell Chingono has to come here and speak. He has to account him. And right now we have tagged the UK embassy. Yeah, it's a game. This is now an international matter. And I'm making this very, very public. So these are not social media games. And you account for the money that you have been harassing people, saying that you are rich. Nelson Chamisa isn't. Youth people must follow you. And you've been shutting people up and blocking them on social media when they ask you critical questions. Now, when it relates to the property that you say has elevated you to become a leader in society, that first property, you have contradicted yourself on that, number one. Number two, your identity. Uri ani wewe Hopewell. Because the embassy yakufumura I. And there's more that is coming. As this is zvishoma izvi pane zviri kutouya saka Hopewell hold on please Rudo. Hopewell must come. Anovanira kuisa iyi microphone haikuona kutumira text messages. Let's have please Mudara finish, and then we can have others speaking. Mudara, please finish.
This is
Mudara
okay.
No. Mudara needs to finish for his 1 minute. Mudara, please finish, and then we'll come back.
I'm just less than a minute if you want. What Simba is saying, kunema ethics ema journalists We have a journalist here who has changed his name 3 times. What was the reason? What was the pressure? Why would a journalist do that? He needs to come clear on that. If in the process, then that's when he's going to meet up with his frauds and fraudulent activities. We do not want such a person in our politics in Zimbabwe. We do not want anywhere or Hopewell anywhere near our politicians in Zimbabwe because akarivesa democracy, yes, Zimbabwe, yes, to what it is now. He is an enemy of the people. He should not send some people to come and stand for him. He should come in and defend himself. Tobvunzana ne voice, tovunzana ne my emotions are down as they are. Hopewell is an enemy of the people. That's my submission. I actually would want Hopewell to come and submit himself to the people, come and dispute these allegations, and will bring hard evidence. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mudara, and thank you so much, Simba. Thank you very much for the space. Welcome everyone to ZimI, and we thank you so much. I wanted to say, Simba, that Hopewell did actually say that he's willing to come on a space, to dispute all this stuff. Right? It's just time and a date. He has no problem with doing this stuff, and the only issue that he had was that like I expressed earlier, that he feels that he thinks maybe people are liars, right? And so Simba, for sure, I know.
Right. Okay. Oh, that would be great. Can you please ask him when? Because you know me, Rudo, and journalists that I work with myself in multiple media companies,
My
all
issue
over the
is
world.
him.
Hold on.
My
You
issue with
wake
him,
up. You can
hang on,
wake
Simba.
them up,
Why
right?
does he
Including
discredit you? Why does he make you like
no.
Gamba?
You're not speaking for him. You're not speaking for him. Ngauye ataure izvo zvandibvunze. He himself must come and say that before the people, before the masses. He is the one who has been calling himself an anti-corruption. Anti-corruption is pro-accountability. If he is truly an anti-corruption activist, and by the way, I'm also saying it authoritatively because I am. Hold on here. Hold on, Rudo. Rudo, I am also officially his former employer myself. He was paid on a project that was my project. So just like Jeff Nyarota, I've got official authority to demand accountability from someone who stole the limelight, or basically who benefited from my business that I was running myself with Al Jazeera.
Okay, hang on. But Anzi, why are you being emotional? Why can't you bring not evidence?
He must come and say that I'm emotional. I'm saying it with authority because I'm actually officially his former employer. You know my paper.
Thank you, Nkoma Simba. I'm not a host, but
Mukoma, you cannot say thank you, Mukoma Simba. Nobody has called you to the mic. Hang on a minute. Allow Simba to speak, and then we'll bring you the mic. Thank you very much.
So what I'm saying here is
just
a lot of people. Yeah, so a lot of people didn't know this. I never said it. Mudara, I never made this official because I don't want to be someone who is a limelight. I'm just like Jeff Nyarota never really popped his head out when Hopewell threw his name around social media, accusing him of all sorts. When yet, in actual fact, he was his former employer. Worked on a project together in the US, a documentary project for the best investigative journalist of all time. I am actually Hopewell Chinono's official former employer. So when Hopewell Chinono was brought to do by the producer, who people heard there on the documentary, I was there. I opposed it, and I was actually there. And it was done on my project, which I funded myself. I used my own money to fund, and then of course later on there was some money that Al Jazeera contributed.
I think Mukoma Simba, I'm seeing here I think it's difficult for people to understand what you're talking about, because he's somebody who stands for the people, who's always fighting for everybody,
Oh,
right?
ngawuye ataure izvozvo.
Right.
And what I'm
Right.
saying is he must come and account. This is now a dead end. You cannot hide anymore behind the cover of journalism, because this is now about your name. Uriani, who are you? Hopewell. Uriani, what is your name? It's the same question that we asked Emerson
But every
Mnangagwa.
time he tries to come on, someone is dropping him, right? Every time he's trying to come on,
No,
someone
no,
is
no. He's
dropping
never
him.
where's ever dropped him? Where's ever dropped him? It is
I
him.
honestly,
No, 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 no,
I did
no,
ask
no,
him
no.
to. Okay.
No. Ndati nini? Hopewell rugochi ngono ngauye panapa ataure. And I've also tagged the embassy, by the way, and I'm glad that the ambassador can now speak Shona, and I'm sure he's following with a ghost account or something like that. And I will be communicating with him soon after this. I am officially an employer of Mr. Hopewell Chingono, and I want him to account over his own identity. We won't go for maybe today, we won't go over the money issue. We'll just deal with the identity first. Unonzani wewe. And Hopewell Chingono, you lied that the embassy cleared you, did a police check on clearance on you. Did you not? Was that not a lie? Was that not a lie that you did there? I communicated with Keith Scott and then with the ambassador. But of course, I didn't stop there. There are other offices that I've been knocking. But as you can see,
My issue with you,
is
Simba, is that
yeah.
I have no problem with you, Mukoma. My problem is people. My issue is that people start thinking that you have a problem because why Hopewell portrays that he stands for the people. So
Ngachu, yeah. Okay, so
yes,
please,
yeah.
you seem to be repeating yourself, Rudo. Ngachu, yeah, as okay. Right. Who's gonna be next now? Who's gonna be next?
All right. Okay. So we're gonna have ABM. ABM, can you
Okay.
take the mic, please? ABM. Thank you.
Oh yes, thank you very much. Happy weekends to everybody. Um, I would just like first to say, um, number one, Zimai and Hopewell, you're children of the same mother. You were born out of hatred of Zimbabwe. Both of you. Uh, you don't add anything to Zimbabwe except for exposing.
Sorry about that, ABM. Please stop slurring your words so we can respect you and take you
Oh,
seriously. And
oh,
that.
my
Wait,
apologies.
hang on, Simba, hang on. Yeah,
Mhm.
ABM, please. Okay, thank you. So
Right.
please speak. Let us respect you. Thank you. You can't say
Yes.
that. You can't. Thank you.
Oh, wonderful. And I hope I'm eloquent enough for your liking. And that being said,
And I would also ask that
You can be
are you
eloquent,
you
but you're
say
not talking any. How can you even say that you're eloquent, but you want to be eloquent, but you're not saying them sort of. So, please respect the people on the space. Thank you.
okay, and I apologize. Like I said, in your some seventh day war, and that's when ndungo tauro uchokwadi hwangu hwandakapiwawo naMwari. Saka ndinokumbirawo regerero kana uchokwadi hwangu huchizoita senge ndinotuka kana asi chidhungotaurawo semunhu waMwariwo. Saka mukoma Simba, ndingoedzawo kungotaurawo because ndinokufarirawo stereki. Ini ndangotiwo zvanguwoka. Pane zvimwe
But
zviito
my one will say, do you think you could speak to the letter, to the response here embassy? We have here a journalist who has been accusing Yoli. I think if I remember well, you are someone who supports Emerson Mnangagwa. Right. And so,
President Emerson Mnangagwa.
sorry.
President Emerson Mnangagwa.
Yes. So yeah. So yeah. With all respect to that, so I'm saying yeah, this is someone who has been demanding accountability, demanding standards of this man, and he posts almost 3-4 times a tweet every day, if not more than that. accusing, and sometimes I guess maybe some people feel that he's correct here and there, and demanding accountability and saying that he's doing this as a journalist, and then he has also been saying anyone who asks him to account for his name changes and to account for the money that he has contradicted himself, they've been sent by Mr. Mnangagwa. Do you believe that people who have been asking him over what the embassy has now disproved, they were sent by Mr. Mnangagwa? So one of the people that he's asked, I can tell by your accent, you must be somewhere in Canada or America, but one of the ladies that he accused is someone who works in the British National Health Service, who spoke out 5 years ago, as she warned the people. She warned the opposition, and of course, back then the opposition did not listen. And that person, he accused her of being sent by your president, Ramnangagwa. What do you say to that? Now
And
that you
sorry,
can
Simba,
see,
ABM, you cannot laugh at Simba's submission, okay? As co-hosts, we are here there to stop you there. You cannot do that. You cannot disrespect somebody where you're at, all right? You cannot be
Sorry,
laughing.
when do I laugh at anybody?
I
Why
saw
are you
you
just
right now.
passing these as aspersions? Like, I'm sorry to say, like I was listening intently, and here you are, you're saying I cannot laugh.
I was
Well,
watching
when
you
did I?
on. I was watching. I'm just saying you cannot laugh at that. Okay, thank you. Keep it moving. Thank you.
Okay,
Offer
okay.
your
Well,
submission.
first
Thank
of
you.
all, wonderful. First of all, I'll take that personally because at the end of the day, in Indon's Babachiedza, okay, I'm the father of an 18-year-old daughter. All right, I'm not here for to entertain you personally just because you're a co-host and you can watch me all you want, but then that does not take away from the fact you're putting Christmas akawanda and and I'm not here for your own appeasement. All right. So if I will move on, Simba Chikanza, and thank you very much, and I always
Mhm.
appreciate
Thank you. So
he
yeah. So do you
right,
believe that people who
yeah,
have been asking Mr. Chingono over that letter and over
hmm,
money issues, that they were sent by Mr. Mnangagwa? Because that has been the narrative. That is what he has
right,
doctored through my media houses. So you find that SABC, for instance, Sophie Mukwena believes that Hopo Chingono is being persecuted by people. Anyone who's asking him questions has been
yeah,
sent by Mr. Mnangagwa. Have you seen that? That's what
yes, I
at least
have,
Wana Sophie Mukwena and the like believe, is that your president is sending all these people, is even sending me.
right. Saka mkoba sita ipapa boga, ndo
Yeah.
panindo manaki ninika, opo ipapa po, in those one zese, chinonzo hopo munu, and I notice anything that is negative is because of Mnangagwa. Right? And it's just the same way how CCC blames ZANU-PF for their own breakdown in their lives. Hopeful, Nasofi Mokoena, those people are bulldogs of white supremacy. They're guard dogs for white supremacy. Anything that they say, I do not believe. Anditi iwewe simbachikanza dzimwe nguva unombouyawo uchitaura zvinhu zvine musoro handitika uchimboexposa corruption in real life handiti not just writing things on the internet, not just making fictitious things that represent
So you
what
said
white.
Zimenguva, meaning the other times you think he does not represent that, or what? Thank you.
Yes, that is correct. Yes, that is correct. Yes. Sometimes I don't. I feel Simbachikanda. I know Monyora, and he knows that. I'll let myself. Okay. Sometimes, and I don't always agree with him. But then there are things. There are things that I agree with Simbachikanda about. All right. Like I said, I gave an example of sometimes when he talks about real corruption where he can prove himself. Then you know what? Nobody likes corruption, right? But then at the same time, pane amwe makuhwa ekuzotu aitaura nani namai munangagwa chichichi ipapa
No, okay, don't say
pandivirani.
Makua, okay, because he's an actual
Aiwa,
journalist. You
iwewe
cannot say
what?
Makua. Thank you.
Right. I thought there was freedom of speech and freedom of choice for the vocabulary that I use. So when you say I cannot say something, then I get triggered like that. I thought no democracy. I can choose the words. If Simba himself feels insulted, then he can say that. But you yourself, I don't think you hold any weight to this
Oh, I'm
conversation.
sorry. Honestly, I hold no weight, but I'm shocked that you would say those words. Sorry. Okay. Mhm.
Wonderful. Maybe I may shock you some more as we move forward. Because I'm not from you. Yeah. So, anyways, Mukoma Simba, chanduda kuedza kuti ndezvekuti ndechekuti hopo kanyaya yetsamba idzo his tactic is always to deflect and blame ZANU-PF for anything wrong that goes on. Takambonzwa tsamba dzimwe dzaitaura dzokuti hopo aiabhusa vakadzi. Pane zvimwe zvinhu zvatinonzwa izvo nyangwe nanhasi pana sesi vangu vari pasi apa vanozvitaura kuti hopoka nenyaya yevakadzi ane zvinhu zvinonyatsomunetsa ipapapo, and all his tactics anongonzi iye anobva ati ZANU-PF. Izvo mukadzi yese ataura anobva ati ZANU-PF, uyo atungwa neZANU-PF. But then pane makore there have been allegations and allegations about Hopewell's conduct when it comes to women, including rape, including zvinhu zvakawanda, and it ese anobva ati vanhu vatungwa neZANU-PF. And that's just very, very unfortunate.
hamuna kutuma here, hamusiri mere maida kudonedza investigative journalist.
The thing is, honestly, ABM, I know you're laughing, and I'm not sure what your intention is, but honestly speaking,
no.
Hang on, ABM. Sis, hang on. The truth is that I want you to, honestly, the problem I have with people submitting here is you try and make Simba look like he's a crazy somebody. When you're offering your submission, don't make him look like he's a crazy somebody. Okay? Because even myself and everybody else, we now start to think, Simba no pengere. Why? Because Hopewell, he stands for the truth, right? So why would Hopewell have a problem with Simba and so forth, right? It's confusing to everyone. So when you're offering your submission, honestly speaking, for me, I'm sorry, Mkoma Simba, you did not tell me this, but you cannot bring him in that crazy light. He's not a crazy somebody. And I know you guys think it's nothing, and then tomorrow you wake up, it's like nothing. Okay? When you're on social media and you risk your life, ABM, okay? You even if you are whatever, I don't want to say whatever stuff, right? It's important. It's very important.
Okay. All right. And I hear you, Hot Seat. But then maybe you need to get to know me a little bit better, right? I'm not here because so that I ridicule somebody. All right. And I think that you yourself, you're actually stepping on my name and using my name for your virtual signaling. All right. I'm not laughing at Simba. All right. And maybe you need to get to know me a little bit better instead of just casting aspersions about me. All right. I respect what Simba does. All right. So even if I laugh, maybe sometimes that's an anxious laugh. You don't know, right? You don't see my face. So please stop it with this whole character assassination that you're trying to do with me and trying to use me to virtue signal how nice of a person you are. Please.
It's
all right.
Oh, no worries. Okay. Please land in 60 seconds. Thank you.
Wonderful. Right. So Mkoma Simba zvamamuchitaura zvazvo ndezvekuti ndinobvumirana nazvo handiti ndichiseka paipai kuti wanga uchiti tinotuma vakadzi into Hopeless life. No. we have no, we do not do that, Mkoma. We've got bigger things.
Vamwe zvese maaccusations ese ndimi munenge makazvigadzira memagara pasi kushekishekweyo.
Because Zimbabwe has got, ZANU-PF has got so much money and so much resources that, bad, all right, the project hope open up. After Loki's policy, after GDP, edu kura 6%, to other all right, yeah, the food that hope open up. Mkazi wewe, Bosalan, edakuna hopo. No, come on. We don't have time for that. ZANU-PF does not have time for that, right? But then what Hopewell Chinono has time for as a single man who is in his 50s, who does not have a child. He has access to these women and he has been taking advantage of those women because, yeah, anangwana, anachi, anditika, munhu toto munhu oti ngochanzingwa futi. But then every time he gets
Okay. And then again, please, when you say things like that, like for example, you say Ngochani, please make sure you make sure no, please. This does not say Simba is saying that. Okay, you have to have to.
I am
it's
saying
an
that.
inappropriate accusation. I think.
My
in here,
apologies.
yeah.
But
My apologies.
even more than
No,
the
Daba,
minute
Daba,
you gave him, my
Daba, sorry,
sister,
Daba.
please.
Daba, it's okay. Let me just land. Let me just land, please.
Outside the minutes you gave him.
Sorry, Ndaba. Sorry. I did not mean you. And by the way, in non Babacheds, and these are the views, my own views, they do not reflect.
You are not the first father. We are fathers too, but respect.
Okay,
Please.
Daba, okay, it isn't.
After
Hey,
all, right now,
All right.
you are a father.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
why?
Thank you.
Can I
Thank you very
just
much.
finish what I was saying, please?
All right.
Okay.
Thank you very much. For everybody here
Right.
on the
So,
space.
so what has been happening is that Hopewell Chingwana, in all of these
ABM,
instances,
please land your plane.
wonderful. Thank you. And what Hopewell has been doing is anything that goes against his character and against what he wants to put out there, he is accused of it. He Kutindia ZANU-PF. It's a ZANU-PF project. It's a ZANU-PF project, and I think that thing should be dismissed in itself. Saka Simbachkaza. Ramba wakadzvanya ipapo because Hopo pane zvinhu zvakawanda zvatinonzwa about how he treats women. But I'll land there. Thank you very much.
Right. Thank you
Wow.
very much. Thank you very much, ABM, and thank you very much. And you know what? Simba having a lot of followers here does not mean that he is subjected to abuse of people. Honestly speaking, okay, it does not mean that if you have hundreds and thousands of followers, it does not mean that uno penga, right? Honestly speaking, I'm sorry, Simba. I'm sorry. And I'm sorry if I upset you, but no. Okay? It's disappointing. Why? It's disappointing because we want people to have freedom of speech, okay? But you guys say Simbano Penga. You say a lot of stuff about him and he allows you guys to say those things. But for us, it's uncomfortable because we're like, okay, bring that evidence, right? Like I literally gave an example where you were saying stuff about Hopewell, right, Simba? Okay, you'll say, and then Hopewell says, "I want to be okay." So if he wants to be there, right? If he wants to be involved, and then you were saying, "No, we don't want him to be involved," but Hopewell is saying, "He will challenge you any day. He wants to be there with you. He wants to answer you, Simba, because he thinks you're crazy, right? And then no one wants to create that space for you."
Right. Well, thank you. Thank you. Hot seat. Hopewell has never accommodated. It's very sad that he has never accommodated a critical review. But I think what's going to be important is to really go. And I'm not.
But he said but he said that he's never refused to be in
No,
a space
that
with
is
you.
incorrect. That is incorrect. The documentary, the Jennifer Banyure documentary, in fact, has got his own voice on the Open Secrets, demanding that my microphone be shut off. He himself has done that. Every time when Hopewell has been criticized before, Hopewell has gone
Okay,
on to
but I
bully
know him
institutions.
personally, and he said to me that
Let
he
me
has no
let me finish.
problem going.
No, Ngachu Yaka. So he must come here. You know what? Hopewell.
Sorry, Simba. Simba.
I am
Sorry,
just
sorry. Ndato jumper
yeah.
because ndato
Shoot.
tigwa nezviri kuitika pano.
Yeah.
Hot seat. Zvauri kuita takabva neko. Zvekuda
Right.
kudefenda Hopewell. That's how it starts. Chenjera umwe wangu. Because zvauri kuita izvozvo takabva neko. right? It's the type of grooming yaitaurwa naComfort nevamwe vanhu. You're defending him. From the moment you came here uchiita co-host, you're not even doing a co-host job. Uri kudefenda munhu asipo. Ngauye. Why are you his spokesperson? Asi muri kukwirana. Don't do that. I'm coming here as a sister. Kukudza kuti ndo matangiro azvo. You become his mouthpiece. You become his mouthpiece. And then
Sorry, Saleni. Sorry, no, that's inappropriate, and that's not the truth. Okay, I'm sorry. We don't do that. Okay, that behavior, please. We don't want this ghetto behavior here. That's not the space, and that's truth. Okay, Simba knows me, and I would. This is crazy. I would not do that. And thank you so much, Comfort, for joining the space. Kuma, I'm going to give you the mic. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
thank you.
please. Before she joins, let's have a silver line.
Yeah, no. Hold on, Daba. Hold on. Yeah, actually, I stepped out of my board. I was multitasking. I made a board retreat, but I also got triggered. I got triggered because I have a lot of women in my DM who are afraid to say the truth about what Hopewell has subjected them to. Hot Seat, I think we had a conversation today, and you were asking me some questions, and it's only that I'm very strong. I'm very strong. If I was weak, I would have been re-triggered back to freezing. But I would never freeze regarding Hopewell. Fight, flight, freeze. I'll never freeze. I'll fight. Why? Because I know what's at stake for my country, for my people. I know why I don't want a man like that one to be anywhere close to power. By all means. I know Hopewell. I've known him. There are people around me who know him. A lot of the women who've been silenced. He is a bully. He's not honest. He's a destroyer. He's destroyed our part of our democracy. The only viable opposition party has been destroyed from within because of Hopewell. He is not a loyal friend because he would call Simba and try to dig a Fadzi. And then I find with Ano Irana Fadzi. And it's a lot of things. So I think if we don't have the facts, let's not defend something. You heard Salani, I know you muted her, but you heard her saying, people like Hopewell will groom you, you will defend them, you'll be their mouthpiece. We've been there, done that. But once you know the truth, you cannot unsee the truth. The fact of the matter is, for me personally, like my sister Grace Mfuluta, who started warning us about Hopewell Chinono while I was still in my diapers. She said, Hopewell akaita zvaakanditira kumwana wangu. Kuti mwana wangu akatadza kutaura nababa wake for years.
Sis, I believe you. I believe you.
Let me finish. Yeah, let me finish my
Please
sentence.
let her finish.
Hopewell zvaakaita kuna Grace Mfuluta akazviita kuZimbabwe without remorse. Munokwanisa here kudzoka back. Can Zimbabwe come back? In short, what we're saying is, it's not personal. It's very petty to think it's personal. And it's very petty to think that I will be a bitter ex. Oh, look at me. I can send my pictures. I'm not a desperate woman. In fact, I have way moved on. It's not about that. It's a bigger picture. And I think some Zimbabweans understand that we can't just dissect things and just make them petty. The issue of Hopewell is about someone who is positioning himself to be at the helm of power by talking about corruption, so that he tickles the ears of the Zimbabweans. People are like, oh my God, this guy is speaking the truth. Yes, he is. And he also has a GIE agenda that he wants to tell us, like Donald Trump, he was not interested in running for presidency at some point. But right now he's a president of this country. And look at where we're going as Americans here. And even how it's impacting the rest of the globe. Let me not digress. I'm saying, atina kurara, toziva kuti Hopewell Chinono une plans ekurana for politics. And I don't want to see a rapist becoming anywhere close to the realm of power. I don't want to see a narcissist who is able to mute his own boss from a program and make himself the voice. I don't want a man who has bullied many people, including Nelson Chamisa.
Thank you.
And including his own headmaster, to be anywhere near power.
Dabezi, please, can you mute your
Because-
mic, please? Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Because as Zimbabweans, we've had enough. I personally have had enough. I want my babies to experience the Zimbabwe that is better. It's never going to get better with people like Hopewell thinking about GIE. Power. With that being said, I'm going to be here. I'm going back to facilitate my board retreat. But I thought I would come here to kind of set things straight because I don't like the way that we're going.
The thing is, sis,
Thank you.
thank you very much, Simba. Sorry, I have to just say this. Dabezi, sorry. Thank you very much. If you feel annoyed with taking too long, I'm sorry about that. But please mute your mic and then raise your hand. Thank you. Sister Comfort, thank you very much for your submission. But do you know why my issue is Hopewell? And I don't, I know you don't follow him anymore, but when somebody comes and says they're buying like wheelchairs, sorry, I speak French now, I have to always translate in my mind, wheelchairs, and buy like things, right, for the government, right? Somebody who's reaching out, he's reaching out, right? So it's hard for people then to defend somebody who opposes that, right? And so forth. So
ana Cosby show vanga vasingatume mawheelchair kune vanhu vaida ana Cosby show
who
vese vakazobatwa kuti they were doing something, they were not doing good works kuti
Vasilani,
vaonekwe kuti vari kugona.
okay, okay, fine. Anyways, let's move on. Let's move on with that. Okay. But I wanted to explain why that always, let's remove Hopewell's name. As long as you bring Hopewell's name, it's uncomfortable for people because of what he does and what he represents, right?
No, it's uncomfortable to you, and I want to know why.
All right. Okay. Cool. All right. Let's go
what I was going to ask. Right, hot seat. Since Comfort is in a rush, I just wanted to ask Comfort, would you like, please, Comfort, to help to deliberate what you see in this letter, this announcement by the Home Office, by the embassy in Harare, that disproves Hopewell Chinono's claim that the embassy clears people for police clearance. How do you relate to this? Maybe Chicha Murkuona, I hope that you're still here. I think she's gone. She's gone.
Yeah, she's gone. She's gone for sure.
Yeah, or maybe before someone else speaks. Yeah, let me just ask Salani. Salani, would you please help me to relate from what you saw, because I remember you've got communications that are almost similar to what Comfort has also.
The problem is when Salani is not objective, because the rumors.
Right. No, I'm gonna ask you. Hold on. I'm just going to ask Salani. Hold on. I'm just gonna ask Salani to just relate only to the letter. So no name calling. She's not going to address you, hot seat. She's just going to be talking over the letter. Salani, is this usual that we've spent 14 years and Hopewell has made Zimbabweans believe that the embassy actually does police clearance? And you live in the UK. Yeah, you're now a British citizen and you know how things work in the UK. But how does this relate? Maybe chimboteexplainerawo vari kumaprazi kuti zvinoreva chii izvizvi.
Simbachikanza, inini panyaya iyoyo, I don't know much about Hopo, what he did. You know me, I always talk about, because right now ndakamirira kuti tiende kucourt. He said he's going to sue me for what I've been saying, about what he was doing. Saka I'm making sure that when we go to court, ndokwanisa kumirira zvandiri kudhila naye based on. So I don't know much about this other instances, but what I can say about the UK, the way it functions, zvinhu zvekuti clearance and stuff for police zvinoitwa nema DBS checks, those checks that the police do. It is not something that the embassies do. That is for sure. That they do not handle that. That's why you see that they said there's a link there where they tell you, Kuti, this is where you need to go for those type of clearance checks. So if he did say something like that, it's quite unusual because it's not the embassies of the UK or whether those in Zimbabwe or wherever that deal with police clearances. This has to do with the police side of things. They're the ones who do the checks, and then they look at obviously criminal this and that and all that jazz. I hope I've answered your question, but obviously because ndakatomirira kusuwa kwacho kwaari kutaura uko, because he always threatens, but he never does it. I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting for that.
mumapepa ari kuti anonzani mumapepa umu zita rake because ane 3 maid ko.
I want to know how he's going to do it, because remember, with Hulu, even Hulu, he actually, I'll speak of things like that I can defend. You know how, that's how I roll.
Yes.
So even with Hulu as well, you know, he's my son. You know, he would call me and say, I want to sue Hulu. Can you give him his address? Who in their right mind would divulge information of a relative because I want to sue him? Don't you know I'm related to him? How can you even ask me for something like that? And it's like, oh, no one will ever find out. You know, so even that type of thinking that I can sell my own blood because Unonzi investigative journalist, you're starting to get on my nerves. Let me finish. So when you have that situation whereby you now have this individual is asking me because he doesn't like what Hulu is saying. And then I said to him, but can't you find it your own way? I mean, I even talked to Hulu about it and I tried to get in the middle. Relationship yangu nehama yangu. Pamsaka papa ye munanonzi Hopewell. So he will do anything to get information. It's not a lie what Comfort is saying. He will do anything. He will sell his own mada chaiwo. And he will use you in the process. So you just have to be careful.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Solani.
Just hold on, hold seat, please. You know what, Solani? When you finally get the letters, please call me, because I just want to see what name that Oppo is going to be on. Because you know what? I think your first area of a challenge. I'm not trying to instruct how you should do it, but I think it's going to be interesting. Your first question should be, who are you?
What are you? Who are you? What are you?
Next question, why are you gay?
Please, let's not make any such accusations, please.
Do you know what? That time when Naga was putting me in jail.
By the way, the ambassador is following these. So we've referred this matter. You know that this is now a government, very, very high level government matter, because this man made representations. He claimed. I mean, you know, he was been going around telling people that he is speaking and he has got a communication by the embassy that clears him over money laundering. And you know, that is not a small thing. You know, you made representations here. And you know, in legal terms, they call it false. What do they call it, by the way? Those who've studied law. 180 false representation. Okay.
False representation. Exactly.
Simba, the thing is, Simba, honestly, Simba.
I've been waiting for too long. Can I ask you a question?
Okay.
All right. Okay. And then, okay. Dabeze,
In your media
wait.
profession. In your media profession.
You can
are
offer
you allowed to divulge something?
We said you can offer your submission, and then afterwards we're going to allow ABM.
So many people came before me. If you want to chuck me off, that's fine. Fuck off.
What are you talking about? I said it's you, and then it's ABM.
No. So many people came after me. I wanted to interact, but
I said it's you first. What are you talking about?
Okay, Nukumro, right. Ndaba, it's good to see you, first of all.
Right now.
Okay.
What are you
So,
talking?
okay.
Yes, Gabriel.
Yeah.
ndaba zezwe asiwambomuyiririra.
Naya kumana, so. Anyways, Comfort, good to see you, sister. I just want to say, there is a certain trend in Kwitika and Nonza about Hopewell's treatment of women. Right, like regardless of whether I agree with him politically or not, and his commentary, but then there is a certain worrying trend. Aniji, I started hearing about this issue, Kunana 2020, from Tete Rasta, right? And it just sucks for me because I've got two little sisters, I've got women all around me, and I love women. And the fact that Kuchi Hopo has been doing this over years, and nobody is holding him accountable. And secondly, nakabona somebody you na Simba about actually in Nanyoro somebody home office could see Hopo he's a clean person, Chichi, and now we have confirmation that that letter was fraudulent. Anishi. And these are the things that Nufa Gutarisa. Yeah, and I agree with Comfort when she says, Kuti, Hopo should not be close to anywhere close to power. Because imagine Munakadaro are producing the power.
Iwe ABM Hopo anotonyenga vakadzi achiti I want you to be my first lady.
Salani, wait, allow him to land and then you can, please don't intercept, okay? Please allow him to land, okay? Thank you, Salani. Thank you.
First lady.
Okay, ABM, please just land. Okay, land your plane and then we can move on. Thank you.
Okay, emotion cop. Okay, I will not laugh while I'm submitting. Okay. But that being said,
we all know you're drunk and it's embarrassing. So we want to cut that time for you. Thank you.
Right. Well,
thank you for realizing that. Thank you very much.
Well, first of all, I'm not drunk. First of all, and secondly, you should address me as Baba Chieza, right? And thirdly, I do not think you yourself.
Woman chauvinist.
I do not care. You don't know Baba Chieza, okay? Do you want me to put my daughter here so that you can? Do you want me to? My daughter will probably come up here and put you in place. All right, young lady. All right, you do not have. You do not have a.
Your name is ABM, and then you say you Baba Chieza.
Right.
Keep it straight.
You said. Okay, for those who know me, they will know me as Baba Chieza, all right? And if you do not know me, that's what you think, all right? And I'm sorry I cannot pamper your ignorance, all right? And you also said that I'm drunk. And just because you do not understand and maybe you cannot get your head around the fact that a black man can speak so good and you feel that
how good are you speaking, man? Just get to the point. You idiot.
I speak so good.
Respect Baba Chieza, man.
I speak so good that I get paid $130,000 a year for speaking. All right. So we
don't even mind this with what you get.
Yeah,
just get to the point.
Regardless of that, if Watsi decides to call me drunk one more time, then I guess I would need to get.
Nasuri sober. Akadakwa ndindaba zezwe aenda
Sabana. Iwewe naye wanzwa pane yangu mazuva ndoya ndakadhakwa asiwanzwa hotsisha chitaura kuti ndakadhakwa
naso uri sober uri kunzwa akadhakwa
motherfuckers aniti ndovamwira doro kana vachida then I can show them and it's just very unfortunate. It's just very unfortunate.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you very much.
No, I have not finished speaking,
let's
young
respect
lady.
the space, ABM, and only.
Yeah, well, you respect me. Don't call me drunk. No, you called me drunk. How are you respecting other people if you just can call them drunk as if I'm taking that on you?
Because you're slurring your words.
That's why maybe you know what hope on because you how the
right. I'm so sorry about that. I had to close your mic. I'm sorry.
Well, no, you cannot call me drunk. How are you gonna call me drunk? Are you gonna apologize for calling me drunk?
Right, ABM, I will apologize for calling you drunk. I'm sorry about that. Okay. I'm sorry, ABM, for calling you drunk. And it's uncomfortable for everybody here when you're acting aggressive, and it has nothing to do with the topic. Okay, it's uncomfortable for everyone here when you're not talking about the topic. Okay, so you think Simba has almost 900,000 people who follow him, right? And then you think like Wang. I'm not. We're not trying to gain no fame, Wang, being here, right? And you game no slack. Okay, even trying to do that. Okay, it's uncomfortable for everybody. Okay, I'm sorry for disrespecting you. I'm sorry, but please don't do that. Okay, it's enough. Thank you.
Thank you, hot seat. Yeah, we also have the next person is going to be. We've got Martin who's just come in, and who else is here? There was a gentleman who came in here, and I recognized the gentleman, and suddenly he's disappeared.
Ngaba Zezwe.
No, there's a new gentleman. Yeah, there's Matsika Ndove. Matsika Ndove. Gordon Sigode. Gordon Sigode. I think he came in and dropped
But
maybe his
mukoma
device.
ndansanda pedza kutaura mukoma ndansanda pedza kutaura.
Yeah, but tangada kuti tichimove because taramba tichingoita go around in circles. Let's move to Martin, and then I think let's go to Gordon, please, because I think Martin is dropped. Yeah, Gordon Sigode, please shoot. Yeah.
haina kungoti siyanai nahope endai motsvage mabasa endai kumashift siyanai nahope
Kana muri hopo munomushedza momudza kuti ngauye azvitaurire kwete kukutumai kuti mutaure nokuti
aiwa
Ndoenda
but
nomudza kuti asiyane
mane makore
nenyaya.
mangani
nokuti isusu hatinei nemokuti makore, isusu tinokushanda even for 100 years tinoramba tichingokushanda. Kana iwewe uchiita zvaunoita izvozvo uchinyepera vanhu kuti wakakliwa neBritish Embassy, tinoramba
wataura nezvahope for a long time
tinoramba tichingokushanda for more than 100 years. Even ukafa, hope wakafa nhasi, Zim aicharamba ichitaura
Simba, why
about
does your co-host keep dropping me to listeners? Ndakuzoboekana manje.
yeah, please, hot seat. Let's not drop her. Let's have women because we only have,
I'm not.
yeah.
I'm not dropping. And please don't. I'm not dropping anybody. Please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. So what I was just saying to Gordon Sigode there is that Hopo Chikono is going to be a big subject. He's actually going to go into whole textbooks. I know a lot of academics, researchers, historians who are working on this. We have collaborated over the years. These are people who have consulted me, and ever since he came on my production and he benefited from my work, my business that I financed, the work that I put in place since 2015. Ever since then, he has never accounted for who he is. I want to know who this man is that Alex brought into my documentary. I want to know who he is. Up to now, I don't even know who he is. He has changed his name. He's got 3 different IDs. And he has been falsely claiming that the embassy cleared him, that he got a police clearance from the British embassy. So this is not a social media matter. Understand, Gordon Sigode, I'm not a social media person. That's why you rarely see me on social media. I only come on social media when there are matters that are important. The same way that I have been on Jacob Mudenda for 6 years, ever since I confronted Jacob Mudenda in Serbia over the disruption of parliamentary democracy. The same way that I've been on Emerson Mnangagwa, in the gold mafia, and many other people. I am on Hopo Chinono, who is now the biggest suspect especially after the British embassy has made this statement. Is now
Thank
the
you very much,
biggest
Simba.
suspect
But
on
the thing is,
accountability. Let me just land, please. On accountability. So Hopo Chingono is not the topic is going to roar for several hundreds of years. So there's no way, and whoever who is being sent by him, tell him that this is not going to die. This is now a big case. It's not a small case, a very very big case. You're dealing
Simba,
with
sorry,
conflict.
Simba. Is it
Iceland.
true, Kuti? He likes to take credit for other journalists' work and then he presents it like he's the one who broke the story. I heard some people talk
Well,
about that.
it didn't start. It didn't start in journalism. It started at Marlborough High School. Anything, anywhere where there's limelight, where there is power, Hopewell will want to climb up to the top and then appear as if he is part of the success story. This started, by the way, as I told you about Mr. Arison Chiware in 1989. There's a musician called Randy Crawford who came to Zimbabwe in that year. And Hopewell Chingono crowed. He did everything that he could to get into the capital city, to go to that show where Randy Crawford was. And he promised the whole of Marlborough High, saying, I'm going to meet Randy Crawford. He has such determination that the following day, he came to Marlborough High School with a color picture. And in those days, the pictures were Polaroid because you needed a day or two to get it cleaned at First Street, Kodak. He did it. He did all that when there was no computer technology. So he's such a determined character when it comes to limelight, power, and that is the same character that he continued in the UK from 1994 after relocating. And that is why, did you know, Salani, it's not just journalists. Let's not talk about journalists. The people that got convicted of money laundering, you've heard some of them speaking. You've heard that other gentleman even saying, "Ndakaverenga mari naye, inini." And I will be speaking even Mukot. Those people who are speaking, they also feel this man is not honest, that he just wants to just take the credit. And I'll end with this one here, Salani. One lady who was convicted in 2002 after Hopo Chingono had gone to Zimbabwe, and she says, Hopo abandoned me, he abandoned us after training us in check fraud. These are very serious allegations. He says, look, I was still fresh, I was young, I was 24 years old, and this guy trained us, he groomed us, and made us cash checks, steal checks from care homes, and then share the proceeds and the like. And then he abandoned us to be imprisoned. So before we even talk about journalism, even those people who were convicted of high profile check fraud in the UK are speaking. They're bringing their evidence. By the way, Zimbabweans, you haven't heard yet. Pane zvimwe zvansanda buritsa about nyaya check fraud. Just fasten your seatbelt. There's more that is going to come. That is very deep. So Opo Chingono, Rugo Chingono, I don't know which name you are going to be using that I should call you. And also I don't know in the same way I don't know which name you're going to use when you're going to sue Selani. Yeah, you need to be aware that this is not going to stop.
Mapurisa vakatomirira call yake ndakatofona first. I don't know why he's not calling.
Ndofanira kundishedza hanzvadzi inini ndoda kutoya ndinopinda mumotawe ipapo within 1 hour and then ndasvika ndoda kungoziva kuti anonzani ipapo. That's going to be a nice one. Who is he? Who is this man? But folks, this sounds like a joke, but it's very serious. It's really, really serious. Yeah, Hopo Chingono.
And Mkoma Simba, Nukumbro Bobon.
Hi, Ebime.
Yeah, this was Okutara Jessica. Now that you've got this letter, right? Like, is it then? Should they not start investigating or hopeless? In India, I prefer to call him hopeless. Should they not?
Ndinomuti Honeywell.
Wanda is a man of many hats. He's nobody hopeless. Hopeless man is like is there not an investigation that should be ongoing for him posting Sambayo, that fraudulent letter from Home Office, Clear Munu, and everything?
Okay, thank you very much. You know what? because I don't work for these people, I cannot speak for them. And when these things are happening, even if any of you know of any activity, you are not allowed to come on social media and say, I know this according to the law. I think and that is why you notice someone like Wicknell, he's walking around, he's flying around. These things are not shared on social media. So I cannot say whether or not certain people are investigating him. I can definitely tell you that there are a lot of researchers who are working on Hopewell. Definitely, yeah. These are just academic, as I told you before, journalistic researchers. Yeah, but anything else, yeah, munozongoona kana anzi kana yeah kana chinhu chata sei kana chikopokopo chamhara kana chiri kuzomhara chikopokopo chacho.
kana chabhondoka kana chabhondoka
Handiti munoziva kuti kana chabhondoka hamuziva kuti hazviita announcement handiti.
Can I
Saka
also talk, brother Siva? Can I also talk?
just to land. Sorry, man. Just
Can I also talk, brother
is it,
Siva?
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, hold on, please.
hold
Yeah.
on, Martin.
Yeah, you
Okay.
So is it because like maybe he hasn't gone back to the UK? Is it maybe because chivangomira kuti paanodzoka ku UK pacho ipapapo ndopati nobva tamusungira.
ABM,
What?
honestly,
I can't talk. Please, I can't talk on matters like that because I don't know what what if there's anything, and I'm not. If I knew, I would not even tell you. And if anyone knows, they're not even supposed to say anything, by law. Okay, so it is by law. Otherwise, you'll be seen because you're talking about the kind of stuff that you're talking about here, the things that are being investigated on Hopewell, the things about him. Excuse me, they are higher than other levels that I won't even mention. Okay, so I can't say too much, but definitely myself, Simbarashe Chikanza, I am investigating him because he was an employee on my business. Munhu akapinda mumunda mangu Hopewell asingazivikanwa kuti ndiani, and vakomana vekwaujazira vakamupinza vaine mumadhiri avo. If you remember, there was that World Cup. Yeah, World Cup yakasungisa ma-MEP. Vakomana ivava vakabhadhara mari. Pane mari dzakabatwa ku-Brussels ukuku, a lot of money. And people got arrested. So that very same World Cup, people will remember, that is when Hopewell was given this so-called anti-corruption award. This anti-corruption award. It was an anti-corruption award. It was named as such. But they gave him this award several months after issues of identity scams and all these other things had been raised internally inside Al Jazeera. So I am accountable to the Zimbabwean people because I no longer work for these people. Because in actual fact, I wasn't even really working for them. We had a business to business contract, and they failed their duty of protecting the public, because Hopewell has got many cases where the data protection issues have also emerged. Many complaints about him breaching data protections of victims and so many other things. So the matter that we're dealing with right now, let's just deal with my demand from accountability from him. Let's not mention any office. Let's not mention anyone apart from the embassy. Obviously, the embassy, definitely we have tagged them here, and we'll continue engaging with them so that they can communicate further. They still haven't done more because they are supposed to put even a broader statement so that this can be discouraged, because there are people even last year who were encouraged to commit serious scams. One of them at Heathrow Airport on 29 April. Another one between 12 and 26 August, Gatwick Airport, a woman called Jennifer Banyure. If you go on the documentary that I'll share the link here, you notice even Banyure's relatives are there. Vatoripo vari kutodiscussa vachitoconfirma her own relatives. You see them even by their names. People called Banyure, what. There are a lot of people there, familiar faces, familiar names that you will see. If this is a big investigation, it's not a small one. And Hopewell Chinono has to account for who he is. Who is he? Investigative journalist who has got 3 IDs. with 3 different names, and then also investigative journalists who blocks people who ask him for accountability
Do you know
about.
that is
I'm sorry,
Hopewell
kana munhu
blocked
ada
him.
kukusuwa zvinoreva kuti achanyora adhiresi yake ka nechakati right.
Kana achida kusuwa but type dzakaita savana Hopewell manje zvavanoita, inini what I know kuti he will do, it won't be suing. What he will do, he will just post a letter and then you come and post it on social media, because he seems to do, he is a stuntman on social media. He's a social media stuntman. So you post a letter and then you say, I sued Salani. And then people who are gullible who just say, yeah, Salani akuzosungwa, Salani akuzobhadhara mari. Like if I here.
Auye inini adhiresi ndiri kuzoiposta panapa tione kuti achachinja nzimba here.
But inini pamazita apo, and because right now I'm not relenting. I think people should know me. I'm not relenting. I am demanding accountability from him. But I think we've got is it Martin or is it RESESC who was about to speak?
Martin.
Okay. Hi Martin. Yeah, shoot.
Yes. Do you know other Blayuda? Vakambondudza pavakaita niki inonzi protest yako niki I don't know if it was England or America. When pandakazovaudza ndikati no, sei kumasimba vachida kutaura zvakaipa pamusoro paHopewell. And Hopewell panga ari kujere patime ndo yanga time imwe chete yakasungwa job scala nenyaya Blessing Ali akaurayiwa namunangagwa netimu ramunangagwa.
Sorry, wati Hopewell pakasungwa ndio same time yakasungwa job sekala pakaurayiwa Blessing. We want to gain clarity.
It was almost the time pakaurayiwa munangagwa pakatuma vakomana vake vakauraya Mo Blessing Ali through his program yevarakasha vanongoponda vanhu kuZimbabwe pasina mhosva. Nenyaya yekuti vanzi vanongopfekawo mauniform eopposition because they like to kill. Saka Job Scala akazoenda kujere nenyaya yaMo Blessing and uyu Hopewell akazoenda kujere nechimwe nyaya chinga chiri chemamedicals ekuparenyato here kuti yanga iri nyaya yeCovid haichaziva. But mukoma Simba vaikriticize Hopewell zvakanyanya. Inini ndikazovasora ndikaudza mukoma Yuda ndikati ko sei mukoma Blayuda munovaziva, ndikati sei vachidaro kwazi maybe problem. Ndakazoona kuti ane problem Hopewell pa2023 election. He was a part of the Shabangu idea. Because iye anga kutaura nedzimwe nyaya yekwazi president wangu uzikonzi hana idea kana president wangu ada kutourawa nebhureti namunangagwa.
Sorry, Mati Hopewell akanga ari part of Chabangu?
Ko ini ndiri kutaura kwanzi iye kana aizotaura kwanzi achitsoropodza president wangu pamberi pevanhu, iye chamisa ari iye anga aita mastructures from 2008 18 after the wangu ndichamisa usiku. Ndosaka ndakaziva basa ndikatambura.
Oh, so you are in a cult? You are in a cult?
No, I support Chamisa.
Yeah, as president of Zimbabwe, ndiye masamnangagwa.
Iwe mbavha yamani.
No,
nakara idea indachembera akatoudzwa rachena chivengwa kuti kwanzi kana wasvika pa70 years siyawo vana vadiki vatonge.
But ingan anti president Nelson Chamisa vakati ivo havachade zvepolitics vakaresign vakanyora tsamba
maZimbabwe makavadhisiva. If you are serious at all and you want to build Zimbabwe, you get an honest person to lead Zimbabwe.
Right. Right, but
muchatongana nezvozvo muchida kunyeperana vanhu. Saka
No,
mukaona
no,
chamisa.
Mkoma Martin.
Sorry, ABM, would you like to Mkoma Martin vanyatsopedza his thoughts? Let him
Go ahead.
drop his thoughts so that we can criticize him afterwards, please.
All right.
Yeah, Martin, please just give us multiply 2.5 minutes. No one should interrupt you, please. Thank you.
Sorry, perhaps what I'm saying doesn't make sense to all of us. But for Zimbabwean survival, we need to stop corruption. And how can we stop corruption? First of all, we have got to have genuine leaders, not corrupt leadership. And the war of liberation was fought a long time ago. Achadivana magaiva. Throughout my minerals are from Zimbabwe. Gold rendered through Fidelity printers. And Mnangagwa cannot do that because he's in the center of it all. That's why Parenyata Hospital doesn't make medicine, because Mnangagwa, after he make his deals, he say, Japreza, Tahupa Mot, Japreza, Animal would die. And through Jibai. So that's the corrupt activity that we want to stop. He makes a bridge, which is substandard. I have worked on the rail project. I'm an engineer, by the way. I'm a discipline fitter. I have worked on the civil engineering, and I know I try my best to do the correct things. But my daughter is here. No, you can talk. Then I'll talk later. Because I've got a disturbance here.
All right, thank you very much.
Mwana has a disturbance, zvake. Oh, get well soon.
So what I'm saying, the way the country, the nation of Zimbabwe is being run is not proper, gentlemen. And
How about the
okay, all right.
disturbance?
Please land in 30 seconds. Thank you.
Sorry, okay.
Wasati nhasi umbori haipa zvinombofamba seko.
Mwana wangu arwara, sorry, ndaurotera zvinhu zvakawanda. So anyway,
give me the mic. Chimboita zvemwana wako Andrea. Thank you so much. I hope she gets well soon. Zvinhu zvatiri kuda kunyatsotaura ndezvekuti izvozvozvo zvokutaurwa naMartin ka zvinhu zvisina basa. Panapa pane dambudziko remurume anonzi Hopeless. Murume uyu ka, he has been terrorizing women, black women, okay, black Zimbabwean women for makore. This is not the first time I'm hearing about this, right? Ndakazinzwa since 2020 panakatanga kuda kuita zve-social media during COVID, right? There has been allegations that have been made. Murume uyu atimbazoisa letter from the embassy. Ichichi here, Hopo did not do anything wrong. She. All right, and here we have Tsamba Yakanyorwa Simba, but start out, we do not do that. Isusu atimbonyore Tsamba ichiti Hopo akapenga. Izvozvo zvinoitwa nani? Zvinoitwa nemapurisa vanenge vachinyasoziva handiti, and so ndo pane dambudziko, because
dambudziko rakanyanya riri pabosi wako ka Emerson or president wako Emerson Mnangagwa. Munozviziva zvekuita hospital Hopewell,
why don't you cut this man off?
especially
kurepa.
Iwe ndiuri kutaura kuti kurepa. Sei vasingamusunge?
Why are you letting this man cut me off?
Yeah, but why can't they arrest him?
Why are you letting this man keep on cutting me off?
Sorry. Hang on. Please. Stop.
I think we have
Please respect the space. Respect Zim-I. Zim-I is a whole social media platform. Okay, please. He has over 700,000 followers. Okay, please respect the space. Don't cut anybody off. Hang on. So, ABM, you're gonna offer your submission, and then afterwards people can rebut. Okay, don't intercept him rebut speaking, okay? You can rebut after the fact, okay? Raise your hand if you want to rebut ABM. Thank you very much. ABM, continue, and then you can offer your submission. And then Mudara, you can continue. Thank you.
Right. Thank you very much. So hey, you did a good job that one. Hey, Makorogoto. Zvekutaurwa guys,
tangira
zvahopeless.
panyaya yekuti vakadzi zvavari kuita.
No, Solani, please.
Yeah. No, thank you. No, because I was interrupted, so she knew she had to remind me where it couldn't nap up. But there has been a history. Yeah, Hopoka. Achita zvinhu zvakadaro kune vakadzi, and then almost turns out in the journalists, avo vatumwa nezanu PF. Aniti. The co-host Comfort, as much as I don't agree with her on a lot of things, but it's one thing that she. Amana inda so Amana. Why? What's up with the
Who is
whole
putting that mute button?
Amana? Hey, what's it? You come chacha you inda so it's come so okay, so. And again, I have to run through this before some hateration happens here. Ultimately, Hopewell is known. There is a history. As this didn't Zongotanga. And then akambaisa ikapekuita achiti wona inini kuembassy vati inini I'm cleared of any wrongdoing and everything, of which was a lie. Takuzviratidza izvo na Simba. And it's just very unfortunate kuti vanhu vakawanda vanoisa politics ahead of everything else, because these are our black women. Anditi, these are our black women that are being abused by Hopewell Chimono. Okay? And nobody.
ndakamusura panyaya akataura zvisina basa pamusoro papresident Chamisa on 2023 election.
Ben Zako Martin Kadzi. Why the hell am I getting cut off?
Listen, please stop saying it's hot seat. I have no business with you being cut off, okay? I have no business about that ABM, okay? Already, if I had any authority, Wangu, in your state, Wangu, no. Yeah, but okay. So Solani, please. Solani, the fact that you Solani, we've received a lot of messages. Putty like drop the Solani because she always tried to dominate the state.
You were told now, Hopewell. We know to mouthpiece. Yeah, okay, latest mouthpiece.
Sure.
Yeah, folks. I'm asking if we could. We've got RESC.
But
Simba,
that's under
no, it's fine. Okay, 30 seconds. 30 seconds to land, and then we respect the space of Zimai. Okay, thank you very much, and nobody else answer the space. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right. So one more time. There has been a history of Popo abusing our woman, our Zimbabwean woman, right? And this is not the first time. This is why I'm actually making a stand for it, because it's not the first time. Back in 2020, I didn't know too much about Hopewell, right? But then I heard it from Tete Rasta, and then over the years, I've been hearing about Hopewell just actually going outside of the law a lot of times while when he was in the UK, right? So this is something serious. Like I believe in protecting women, and because I love women, right? Hot seat, how you doing? But I believe in protecting women all the time, and what Hopewell is doing and taking advantage of his status as whatever award-winning chocolate apana chinhu chinoita se chinomuholda accountable, right? And I'm very worried about it. Right, he's a 50-something-year-old man without a child, without a woman, without a girlfriend. That's all very suspect to me. So I'll leave there for now. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know the personal life of Opposition, but what I know,
hang on. Thank you very much. We want to give the mic. Thank you very much. We want to give
Job Scala when he was in.
Thank you very much. We need to give Simba the mic, Zim I, because he has people on the other space who want to also contribute. So thank you. Please don't rebut and stuff. Thank you very much. Simba, mic.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. So we've got research evaluation. Who has been in the wait? I'm hoping that research, you're ready. Are you ready? Research, RESC. Okay. If not, maybe Martin, do you wanna finish what you were saying about Hopewell and something to do with affecting job seeker? Yeah.
Hello.
Okay,
Hello.
he's back now. Okay, thank you. REC, please, shooter.
Yeah, it's like I was muted, but now it's okay.
Okay,
But
thank you. Thank you very much.
what I want to say is that one man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter. So I think that is the thing that everybody of us here should know. That I may hate another person, but that particular person has got admirers. So this is very important. That is why people were talking about Chamisa, Mnangagwa. But what I'm saying is, let me come back to the topic. No one is completely wrong. For example, I want to speak in light of Hopewell Chinono. Hopewell Chinono, sometimes I criticize him and he even blocked me. But there are also issues which I emulate from him. Because sometimes when he speaks, he can send some shockwaves. So that is why sometimes when it comes to that particular area, you have to be respected. And the other thing also that we can do is that as we are pushing against Opochimono, like what one said, we should also take a sort of an action. Like there are women who are claiming to have been abused by Hopewell. The law is just clear and the door is open. We want to see people,
Sezvamakaita kuna mai Jeremiah.
and when he is reported, action will be taken. Because if action is not taken, then people won't understand the truth within those particular allegations. And there are issues of fraud. Those issues can be quickly reported to the local authorities or authorities responsible. But if not reported, people will now try to question whether the allegations are strong or are weak. I will finally conclude by saying, ndakambozvitaura kune imwe platform, that ukaona uchigeza uri kurwizi, hembe dzako dzikanongwa nebenzi, usamhanyira benzi iroro uchiritera. Gara mumvura kusvika kwasviba. Manheru ozotora usumuka hako uenda kumba. Ukada kumhanyira nebenzi ndiwe uchabatwa. Zvatiri kuona apa Hopewell ibenzi iri. And nauri akumhanya nemukati mevanhu umo. Asi vanhu vari kumuteera panapa ndimuchabatwa mumashure make. So you have to be very careful when we are becoming tough on somebody, because something is not adding up. Now I conclude by saying, Hopewell, we know him very well. That his game or tone of doing things has been linked to ZANU-PF. And whatever he does, we should be very careful, because he inherited that kind of propaganda and whatever from that particular system. So that is why sometimes you are failing to understand him. And some people they
Okay,
claim.
sorry, can you make it clear? Are you saying Hopewell Chinono is a mouthpiece for ZANU-PF? Thank you.
No, I'm not saying he is, but I criticize him, because you still remember by the time when Mnangagwa came to power, it was Hopewell Chinono who was pushing for that. But when there was a problem,
From that.
so that is what happened.
Opochimona anga akapromiswa ZBC.
Yeah, that is true. Salan is correct. He was promised that this, we talked about it.
That was in
But sometimes when
2002,
there was a
bro.
problem.
Okay,
No, that was
please,
Helen,
wait, please allow someone to offer their submission. You can rebut, raise your hand, please. We are a civilized association. Thank you.
So when you are dealing with those people, they are kinds of opportunists where you don't understand them, because sometimes where there is money, they are always there. That is why Simba is struggling, because he's trying to be a man of truth, of which these people, when you are dealing with them, for you to make sure that you push them out. Don't talk much about them, because the more you talk about them, they will gain momentum or support.
Okay, Mkoma,
Because
please
right
land in
now,
30
that's
seconds.
what
Please land in 30 seconds.
right
Thank you.
now, ibenzera hembe ziri kumhanya tikuteerera naye asi tichakutonongedzerwa, because that is what he wants, and that is what I think even where he is listening, he is happy to listen about that. So now I conclude by saying two things. If there are people who were abused by Hopewell, go to the court of law so that we will check whether it is true. If there are allegations of fraud, please go to the UK government police so that he can be reported. There is evidence, because sometimes the UK system is actually much
So is Simba
better than
lying? So
this.
is Simba lying? What is Simba lying to the Zimbabwean community about Hopper?
No, he's not lying, but we said those allegations should be sent to the police so that we also verify from there. Because some of us, we want to crucify our enemy with evidence, not with
And
allegations.
Shandaka Sama post achitara blowjob.
Boss
Was that
Fulani,
not
please
evidence?
stop interjecting. Please raise your hand. Thank you.
Yes, the posters were okay, but now to go to the next move, go and report him to the authorities. Because sometimes when you keep on talking and talking, that is why we are saying, "Benziri kutomhanya takatobata hembe dzenyu, tisu takuzonongedzerwa
So, so,
mashure
so,
acho."
so thank you very much for
So
that. So maybe
that's
I
my
will need,
contribution.
so I will need to answer that, right?
Yes, Simba. I
Yeah.
was actually gonna say I want to give you
Yeah.
time to
So I
answer,
think,
like a
yeah,
long
I
time
think
to
I
answer. Yeah,
officially,
thank you.
yeah. So officially, Wopo Chingono, Wopo Chikono, and all his multiple names, his different names and IDs, they are the subject of a follow-up reporting that was done to the authorities. The authority that you see there, the document that you are seeing there, that one was released. Martin, can you mute, please? Okay. That document that you see there was released after my communications with them. That is the British government. That is the embassy in Harare. And I need you to know that I am not just any person who is screaming about. I am an employer. Opo Chingono was employed on my project. So he is, in fact, on paper, officially an employee of Simbachi Kanza. I've never said it this way, and I know you've never heard it this way because I've never sought to blow it up. But that is the official position. That is why you see the first court case that I did on Al Jazeera, when I started launched my case with them, you'll notice that in those documents, that was their response. It was that I cannot sue them because I cannot sue them in an employment tribunal because I was not an employee. I was a director of my own business, which they contracted. So he came onto my project and they used him. Now their current statement is that he was never engaged, his services were never engaged, or he was never hired. When in actual fact, the truth is, he was actually taken in.
Plus
As
Simba
and so
Wopo anakuita a space achi-invite someone from Al Jazeera kuti ataure mazuva iwawo.
that is part of, yeah, that's right. That was Alex. Yeah. So Alex is the producer who came to my home in Leeds in 2019 when I had refused to sign to give them rights to my documentary. He's the man who came to my kitchen window to beg me to contract Al Jazeera when I was shirtless, and and spoke with me through the window. This is now fake shirt, so that is the man. And so I didn't want to make these things public. I was very, very quiet about it since 2022. And then when I noticed in 2023, around the time of the documentary, they profiled him in a way that misleads the public, that make him appear as if he's better than Hubert Anjo. He's not. is worse than Hubert Anjo. In actual fact, Hopewell was part of our editorial discussions on that documentary. A Hubert Anjo character used to peg the type of person that Hubert Anjo is. A daddy character, a man with multiple names, a man with a history, a checkered character, and then also a man who has to answer over suspicious money. And so Hubert Anjo and Hopewell, they are just one. In actual fact, he's worse. He's way more effective. That skill that you saw in the documentary when Hubert was saying, I am the least person you can ever expect. That skill that Hubert Anjo was, that skill, Hopewell is 7 times that skill. He's capable of making people never suspect him. And so what I'm doing right now is not screaming on social media. I'm simply reporting and then helping people to engage, particularly people who felt bullied and harassed. I'm not fidgety, hear me. I'm not a fidgety person. I'm not a social media person. I think Hot Seat said ZimEye is a social media platform. It's not. ZimEye is actually officially a news network that he has got partnerships with, and is the only Zimbabwe news network with partnerships with the most international media companies. We're talking international media companies here. Deutsche Welle of Germany and Al Jazeera of Qatar. I won't mention the others. For technical reasons. But quickly, what I'm saying here is that I am an employer who is concerned that my documentary was used to profile and promote someone who is hurting my people, who's hurting the public, and not in a small way, but someone who has got a lot to account for, someone whose name is not even known. Like right now, this whole disclosure by the embassy, it shows that Hopo Chinono has got identity scam issues that he is answerable to the public. And people must know, and that is what they must ask him. So Zima is not a platform where people just scream here and there. We publish news, we investigate news, and that is why we were formed, and that is what we do. And that's why you'll notice on this space there are only 105 people. I think on video we are 1,000, so we are 1,100 people right now on live. If this was a space, if we were after numbers, we could have been doing some other topics, when maybe enjoying 50,000 people live views, and just going, like maybe doing the Ola style. But we are an investigative news network that was founded by professionals who've got a background in risk investigation. We're talking high level, local to international business risk industries, and myself being one of them. And and so that is what we want. We want to have our people, particularly those who have raised serious complaints, and mainly our parliament is now, when you watch parliament just 2 days ago, if you watch parliament, Unochema, it's no longer a parliament. You know why? It is because someone used the cover of journalism. And do you know, and that is why you notice that even ZANU-PF members are exposing him, because they're saying, look, you've made parliament to deteriorate. We no longer have a vibrant parliament. It's because of you. You used journalism to bully and harass and confuse people. And I'll just land with this one. Mudara, I think your hand was up. I'm going to ask you to just say something. Come
Yeah,
back and say what you yeah.
where I disagree with Hopo Chinono
I
is not.
just want to land with something. Kuma Martin, hold on here. I wanted to say, did you know, Zimbabweans, that you guys could have actually graduated your country, your democracy, if you had done what the Botswana journalists did 5 years ago? Among Botlung in Botswana, in August 2020, contacted me asking for notes and asking for services to help the Botswana people expose their own Hopewell Chinono, who is called Frank Museveni, who was confusing the Tswana society. And at that time was actually baying for job seekers' number. This man had phoned me asking for job seekers' number. At the same time, that Hopewell was also paying for job seeker to influence job seeker. And so I helped the Botswana people. And little did I know, we've got some lovely ladies here. Little did I know that the lady that I am assisting here, guess what? I was actually preparing her kutatore nyanga. Right now as we speak, ndiye our top secretary wa Botswana president. Ndiye apatoa panyanga. Right now as we speak, she is now the chief of staff of president, the new president of Botswana. So you need to realize here, I'm going to put the link here so that people know. You need to know what you have lost, Zimbabwe. This is what you have lost. If you had concentrated, if you had done what some of you ladies had done what Emang did, to request my services back then, I've posted it here. Can you see it on number 1? It should be coming, my manager, on number 1. Where I said, congratulations, legendary editor and veteran investigative journalist Emang Matapira over her appointment as Botswana government president's press secretary. When she first linked up with us 4 years ago, she was investigating the Tswana community's media scammer, their own Hopewell, called Frank Museveni, who's wreaked havoc there. And he was at the time, just like Chinono, also trying to mislead and compromise Honorable Job Sikala. There's no better media expert to handle notorious characters and make sure Botswana stays free of the Hopewell Chinono menace that has damaged Zimbabwe than Emang. I have no doubt Botswana is in safe hands. Can you see that? And can you see Emang actually confirms? If you go below, she actually confirms it. She confirms that incident. Wonaima Zimbabweans, this is what you miss. And if I'm not mistaken, this is what a lot of women are crying out for. They're saying, look, we need freedom. We need change in our country. Botswana, through my services, after receiving my services, they managed to remove the ruling party for the first time in 38 years. By the way, Emang was not the only person. President Kama also contacted me. So you look at them right now, they've managed to remove the ruling party for the first time in 38 years. I'm not saying Zimbabwe should remove them. Maybe ZANU-PF could have reformed. I don't want to offend people in ZANU-PF, but I'm just saying here, but having a vibrant ZANU-PF like what we had during the Edson Zobo days, a ZANU-PF that challenges, where ideas are exchanged, we could be having.
Right.
So,
Can I just ask you something about journalism? Right.
yeah.
Because it seems like we're now talking more about the state of journalism in Zimbabwe.
No, but hold on. Let me just land, please. And then, but because Martin was before you. So what I'm saying is, Zimbabwe, this is what you lost. Look at the Botswana people. Oh, Mamona, she's confirming there. Can you see in the dashboard? I've posted here. Yeah, the messages. Just to show you what you Zimbabweans are losing. Because I've had Zimbabweans asking me, Simba, you have helped 3 SADC countries, 4 countries make it in the last 4 years. Why can't you help your own country? How can I help you when you are not taking my services? I've shown you there. The problem, who is the problem? Not what is the problem, but who is the problem? Is it Mnangagwa? It may not even be Mnangagwa. Who is the problem? As you can see, here, proof your evidence here. V11 ayo. Martin, can you see the evidence? Martin, are you there? Martin, are you there?
I'm there, but I've got something to speak.
But muriona ere V11 iyo. Muriona ere kuti Botswana yakatoyambuka. Takabatsira kuyambuka murikuzona.
No, Pakanaka, it's not about me and always me, Brother Simba. What I was saying is that when
I wanted to ask you my own evidence here. Mukomana uyu akakompromisa job sikala uyu Hopewell handitika ende kuBotswana vanga vaine mumwe Hopewell wavo.
compromise the 2023 election because as a journalist, he wasn't supposed to interfere in the structures of the CCC arrangement. That's why where I went wrong with him. That's why he blocked me on Twitter. Because he tried to be sympathizing with people who are sick or who have got critical condition asking for donation. And when he does that, he forgets that he is a contribution figure. Mozatendai biti akadyiwa nemurungu uya panyaya yethat constitution, but dei Chamisa akahwina Chamisa, but dei akapinda papower 2023, Tendai Biti was going to be the finance minister. But instead, Job Scholar, anzani uyu Hopewell Chinono, he interfered apart from being a journalist, and that was where he was supposed to end there. But he interfered too much and started criticizing our president, who is a person, an honest man, who doesn't steal, who doesn't take advantage, and who doesn't receive donations. So that's my contribution. I can talk too much.
My hand has been-
Thank you very much,
Yeah.
Martin. Mdara, yeah.
Yeah, what we are discussing here is Hopewell. Hopewell, the criminal, not Hopewell, the patient, journalist, or whatever. We need to tell Zimbabweans the criminal acts that have been committed by Hopewell. And we also need to discuss how he has destabilized opposition. The issue of him saying Mnangagwa is a decoy. The issue of him saying ZANU-PF has been a decoy over the years. Hopewell is a ZANU-PF cadre sent by ZANU-PF to neutralize the opposition. We are now exposing, number one, excuse me, Martin, I was very quiet
Sorry.
when you were
Wait,
talking.
hang on. Please don't interject him. Allow him to offer his submission, and then after you can thank you.
Thank you. There are criminal charges here that we are all aware of. The criminal charges have proof to hand. There are issues of women abuse or abusing women. Who has protected Hopewell over this time? Because he is a plant, like I said in my previous presentation, that it was done to break up the hold here, Renamo. That is Hopewell. People should know that this is an evil man who has stopped democracy practicing by going on befriending opposition leader, our leader, Advocate Nelson Chamisa, and pretending as if he was serving. And all the while, he reports to ZANU-PF. ZANU-PF has actually not even raised its law enforcement agents. It will be even a crime for a woman to step up and report to Hopewell. We need protection for witnesses and people. Look at how nations can be naive. The cases, of course, it's still
So Mdara, sorry, I have to interject you. Sorry. So you have V11s, okay? According to what you're saying, you have V11s to basically put hope on
ladies, not me, but there are ladies who have testified here that Hopewell has abused women, and they have abused this, that. If we have witness protection, proper witness protection, without our judiciary system being compromised, and also our law enforcement agencies being compromised, definitely people will come up, but they are afraid because it's Hopewell. They are afraid.
So they're afraid of somebody who the law has even literally put him in jail for a while, right?
No. Putting in jail on remand is not really in any case. It is a democratic right, or it is a constitutional right that they should be given bail. But for it to be covered up, they would treat him like he was arrested at the same time as Ngari Vume and job seeker, they will actually treat them the same. See, because he's a decoy of ZANU-PF. And then when we come over to his criminal activities in the UK, those I think they are coming up. They are coming up. I know of one of their kingpin in the gold mafia who was actually dug to the core. The guy called Patin from Kenya. He actually, a stream of his companies are now on sanctions, and a stream of people who, including those that just went on to put in or append signatures, have been picked up by CIA and FBI and MI16 or 15. So we want Hopewell brought
All right,
to book.
please land in 60 seconds. Thank you.
Okay, I will end here. But what we are actually trying to say here is that the father or bishop of all corruption is Hopewell, and he's linked. He's linked more than Angel is linked in this cartel, and he is also part of those money launderers who should be picked up internationally. But we need to assist the Zimbabweans and come up with proper, because Hopewell is really, 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 truly ZANU-PF. I'm afraid my other colleague who is representing ZANU here does not know that, but this guy is purely ZANU-PF, and they are actually doing looting is there. Thank you.
Thank you very much. ABM, you can rebut that, and then we move on. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. So first of all, I'll just like to say, it seems like just real quick, the first thing I would like to say is to respond to the previous speaker. I'll just like to say that.
Please reduce the volume on your background. We can't hear you properly.
Right,
It's
and I've
muted.
just
Thank
turned
you.
it off. I understand. Thank you. I'll just like to say first of all, if Hopo is a ZANU-PF agent, then you know what, the ZANU-PF deserves accolades to be able to get to even Hopo himself. And I'm so tired of opposition political parties blaming their weaknesses on ZANU-PF all the time. Like that means that you do not have any fortitude. Well, no, I'll put it this way: you do not have any testicular fortitude, because you can be infiltrated. You can just be taken over by a political party just like that. You do not have a backbone. Right, and yeah, so you can keep on blaming ZANU-PF, and that's good, because for me, as a ZANU-PF supporter, as a ZANU-PF member, like I'm happy that we can weaken people so much, and if we're going to war, I'll back
ABM,
on ZANU-PF.
so you ABM
No,
as a ZANU-PF supporter, you have no idea that
I'm a
basically
ZANU-PF member.
Okay. So you don't know about these allegations that Hopewell is part of your party, right?
No, and I was getting to that. Because if you come down to it, these ladies that are speaking, even if I talk about Comfort, Tete Rasta, Bosalani, they're not in Zimbabwe. All right.
Okay, keep it
So
respectful. Make sure land your plane respectfully. Thank you.
well, yeah, well, I would, and I would gladly do that if you just refrain from interrupting me all the time. Um, so these ladies here that do have these allegations against Hopo Chimono, they're not in Zimbabwe. His crimes happened, and he committed most of his crimes in the United Kingdom, in Britain. All right. So then, if we're talking about who is coddling who and who is protecting who, then it must be the UK government, all right? Because, like I said, like all of the women and all of the allegations that are coming up against Hopper um, are and happened in the UK. And this is why I ultimately asked. Please mute your mic. This is why I ultimately asked Simba. Kuti, is it the reason why Hopo has not set foot in the UK in a long time? Because
ABM.
there
All
is
right. Okay. Land your plane. 60 seconds. Thank you.
right, but yeah, okay, thank you. And because this happened in their territory, right? just like William Shinyanga, Zimbabwe couldn't come, ZRP couldn't come and arrest William Shinyanga in the UK, but the UK, the law enforcement in the UK, they played their part, right? So these allegations that are coming is he hasn't been arrested. It's because the allegations and the things that he did, they happened in the UK. All right, it didn't happen in Zimbabwe, because if it did happen in Zimbabwe and these ladies reported it in Zimbabwe, then yes, right. And finally, I wanted to ask Simba about the state of journalism in Zimbabwe, because you mentioned that Hopo has steered people in the wrong direction and to focus on the wrong things. Yeah, that is not necessarily a Hopo problem, and it just seems like in Zimbabwe, there are like journalism seems to be failing, and because journalism's responsibility is to point to matters that should be of interest, not just financial gain to write an opinion piece.
Or
Um,
a
uh,
personal issues.
Okay,
yes.
yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, yeah, I think I'll answer you after Salani. How is that?
Thank you very
It's
much.
all good. It's all
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Koma. Okay, so Solani, I think you want to rebut that, and then afterwards we're gonna have Zimai respond. Thank you.
And I'm not rebutting anyone. Ari kutaura kuti Hopewell is full of another side. Those ones I'm not rebutting because there's definitely a different side. There's a side to him that we don't often talk about. Even if we were to try and move away from this whole aspect of women who've come out, including myself and many others, you may not listen to us because we're not your sisters, we're not your daughters. No, it's like a campaign. But guys, ukaona vanhu vakawanda vachingotara the same thing about the same person. And I've actually had people, men, talk to me behind. I won't mention their names, and they've said, we've always heard these things. In fact, patori nomwe mukadzi akamboda. Patori nevarume within his area who know that he's got something. I need like this thing when it comes to women that he cannot control himself. And I wouldn't be surprised if that becomes his downfall. Nyaya dzekuda zvemasket. And it's quite bad. And then we talk about this other stuff. Okay, you want to ignore that. What about this issue? Yekuti apparently he gave the location of my secret hiding places even the opposition. Why don't you guys talk about that? Vanhu munoda kuvhara nyaya, but you know about it. It's like someone will say it and then that's it. You're like, no, we're just going to cover that up. We're going to cover it. We're not going to talk about it. But you've heard about all these things, about how he gave the whereabouts of my secret hiding places. I know it's my safe house. Even the opposition. You know these things, right? There have been instances where he'll bring out a story, and then later you find out that he wasn't even the one who broke that story. It's because he's got a lot of followers and he likes the hype. He likes the people saying, uneyese, or investigative journalists. Yet these are stories from people who may not have as much followers as he has. And then you'll take credit for that. We've heard about these things. But munoda kuekta kunge, he's like, you can do no wrong. And the funny thing, and then he'll point a finger to others. Authority, we wakadai, chamisa wakadai, chamisa wakadai. Iye arikuto iye anenge achinongedza wacho. Mamwe mafingers akatonongedza kwaari. And that's a fact. We don't talk about that. Do you know, I was surprised there was, because one thing that I like doing nowadays, especially when I see people like him grab the mic on certain spaces, don't even request the mic. Listen to what he'll say. You hear a lot of contradictions. 1 minute he says that, the next minute he says this.
Sorry. Wait, can I ask you a
No,
question
I'm
for
the
you?
train of thought. I've got a train of thought. Let me finish. You can ask me when I'm done. So you then have a situation, Yokuti. There was one instance where I specifically remember, Simba, I'm sure you remember a lot of my spaces where he speaks. He said something about how he had told Nelson Chamisa about my wheelchairs, my donations, medical equipment and stuff that he got. On that thing, on that place where he was speaking, he said specifically, I told Nelson Chamisa, and Nelson Chamisa did nothing. right? This is what he said at one point. And then he was on Jet Space the other time. And then he said that he told Nelson Chamisa about those equipment, and Nelson Chamisa did nothing. Then he says he also told people from ZANU-PF, from government, that he had donations, and government did nothing about it. Why was that? The first time we were now hearing Kuti, he was going around, not just to Chamisa, but to people in government and telling them, Kuti, I've got this equipment which has been donated. We all initially thought that he was doing it to support Nelson Chamisa and opposition. And then later on, we find out, Kuti, no, this guy was selling to the highest bidder, right? He was basically going kusero to Chamisa, Ona, this is the donations that I've received. And then he goes, Chamisa did nothing. Then he's also going kune government. Vanoti vari corrupt achiti. These are donations that we've gotten. And government also did nothing. Why didn't he tell us that in the first place? Because when he initially said that, he made it seem like Nelson Chamisa was the only person, let me finish, was the only person that he gave this information to so that he could benefit opposition. And later on, we find out Kuti, he was playing both sides. Playing both sides. Someone said here, Kuti, he's like, Anons, what's that word, Chirungu? Muna an opportunist. I'm not kuziva pa akamira. So I don't even, I can now understand why even Nelson Chamisa didn't take it on board. Pamanenga toudzwa kuseri kutiwe mukomana uyuga ari kukutani izvi equipment ya nesu atotudzawo. You cannot play both sides. That's what he does. He plays both sides, wanting to see what will get him where he needs to go. And I think that is a serious problem.
Thank you very much, Bosalani, for your submission. Thank you very much for that. And then we're going to go to Respectful. Respect, do you want to take the mic? Thank you.
Saka, can I just check hot seat? Saka, when you were trying to interject me, it was kundinyararidza, not kundivunza mvunzo.
I will respond to you after. Thank you.
Okay, I've got two questions. Let me ask Mudara there. Mudara said Oppo is a fraudster in the UK. So I want Mudara to give me part of the evidence of the fraud that is alleged to have been, undertaken by Oppo in UK. Because I know the security system of UK that someone can't steal 100,000 pounds without being spotted because they are saying
unoda kuti ndipindurire
and occupy yangu chance.
Just hang on, Mudara. Allow him to offer his submission and then you can rebut. Thank you. I'll give you the mic. Thank you, Mudara.
Because what we are doing can be a reverse. It is going to happen to us. That we have got a tendency of talking of fraud without evidence on the ground. I'm not saying you are the one who have said so, but the situation is that people are not willing to take this to the UK police or those authorities responsible. Why? Because we gave them time to talk and talk, thinking that they were at one point in time going to the UK police. That's why we are saying no. We accepted initially so that we could wait for you to move forward, but we have not taken anything. That is why for me now, I hate Hopewell, but on this, I want to exonerate Hopewell that there is no evidence because people don't want to go there. And finally, the other question will come to Boss Salan. Boss Salan, why can't you report your case to the police of maybe allegation of abuse, sexual abuse by Oppo? Those are the two questions that I want people to assist me with. No, that's why I want to know. That is why I want to know. Because when there is a case, maybe it is going through stages. So if that is the case like that, it is very good. We have done a good thing. Then the truth will come out. Now I think Mudara will give me, light on the issue of fraud of Hopewell, which the intelligence
thank you very much.
is saying.
Thank you very much, Respectful. Mudara, can you please respond to our previous case? Thank you.
Governor has exonerated Hopewell already. There is multitudes of evidence. Simba and our host here. Wanzwa iwe mai vatanga kutaura vachikutaurira room 101 102 paSheraton ndo anonzi card fraud vachikutaura kuti unopuhwa long number according to zvaitwa naHopewell long number expiry date and then that CV number kanamba kane 3 digits paseri pecard rako kana uri muUK. That is what zvavaiita naTazvimhaka vari kuLeeds. That is where they were actually scamming people. Yeah, the evidence is there. But the guy was protected somehow. And this is where exactly you want or what you missed. Because we are talking here of a person, aka paralyzer opposition, aka paralyzer triple C. Anga achida kunyudza our president Nelson Chamisa.
All right.
We are
Please
talking
make
of a person
Mudara G.
who is
Please make. You
reversed.
said the person. Please make it clear who the person is. Say who paralyzed that. Thank you.
Yeah, but if you go on, who paralyzed what? Who paralyzed what? I didn't get your
No,
question.
Who
But
what
paralyzed what
I'm
you're
saying
talking about?
is give us
Like,
one person with the card which was abused by Hopewell.
no, that is
Because you
intricate
see,
detail. It
if
cannot be.
we
No.
continue,
Let me explain here. Let me explain. When the lady came on stage and said so, you did not ask her who her name or what her name was or what card numbers were. There's a lady that testified here on this platform. But you're now trying to play blind or deaf. We are saying we've got an enemy of citizens of Zimbabwe in the form name Hopewell Chinono. And you are actually hearing from Simba that he's still compiling. He's got hard evidence. And
Thank
that
you,
hard
brother.
evidence will be
Okay, right.
submitted
So
at the appropriate
Thank
time
you,
to law
brother.
enforcement
so
agents.
it's so research. So let me show you hard evidence. You said you want hard evidence.
Thank you.
The
Thank you.
documents that you are seeing at the top there, that response from the embassy, that response is your first and foremost or your latest evidence. Let me say your first, but your latest evidence.
The police
The
clear
embassy.
the allegation, claim
Yep.
clear the embassy.
Yes. You
Yeah.
see, Hopewell, his entire defense has been, I didn't commit fraud in UK. I'm not a fugitive from justice. The British embassy, this is what he said. I can play the video, the recording once again. It says, the British embassy declared in writing. I've got the letter here. I'm going to read it to you. The British embassy declared. And then he then reads certain words and he says, they said, Hopewell Chinono is not a fugitive from justice in Britain. He repeats it twice. Now, when you look at that letter, it does not have such wording. That letter that he presents to people. But not just that. The embassy itself announces, following my and responding to my questions to them, they say, look, we do not at all issue police clearances. We have never cleared anyone. If you want, and they're now telling him, Hopewell and anyone else, if you want to get a police, go here. You, Hopewell, and anyone there who wants a police, go to this link, and then they publish. They are the only embassy. If you go and search all the other embassies, they're the only embassy who have made this announcement. Why? They're making it in response to my disclosures, the evidence that I disclosed to them. So
Mukoma Simba.
quickly. No, let me
Simba,
finish
let
that
me
bit. Let me
add.
finish. Yeah.
Please don't interject, Simba. Allow him to offer his submission. Thank you.
So what I was saying is that Hopewell, this is his only defense. That is his only defense. And it is now clear that the embassy in 2024, 2025 cannot do police clearances, even with the technology it has today. In 2011, they did not have the technology they have today. But even back then, they did not. And one thing that you need to see here, someone was then asking who has been affected. I can give you names. So quickly, I'll tell you the documentary there. It shows you the latest person who was affected in these identity scams that Hopo was leading is an engineer. And you've got the name of Hopo's friend who is same age as him. who tried to go and hack Gatwick Airport, who actually did it physically, to go and hack Gatwick Airport database to delete her own name, which she used to enter UK the same year that Hopewell changed his own name in 2001. Now, if you are a student of history or someone who was following history, what you realize is that Hopewell belongs to this cluster of identity of 9/11 scammers, 9/11 period scammers. The people who used, remember the people who went to America and they
I
did
have a
what they did?
question, brother Simba.
No,
Mukoma,
but
Brother
let me
Simba.
we
finish.
will
Let
allow
me
you.
finish,
We will
please,
allow
Martin.
you to offer your submission. Allow Simba to
So
land. Thank
so
you.
so
We're
Hopewell
respecting you. Thank
so
you.
Hopewell yeah, so Hopewell is proven right now, has been proved by the by the British Embassy to be an identity scam. And then also answering the question, has he been reported? Come on, you are seeing a report from the embassy right now. Who is the embassy? The embassy is the British government itself. Who is the government? This is the UK embassy, the country where Hopewell was living, and the country that Hopewell has now disclosed that he truly obtained money that made him rich in the 90s. Okay,
Right.
so quickly. So this is what you have here. I don't know how else I can say this. There's just so much evidence. I mean, look, there's too much evidence here to show that Hopewell has got a case to answer for identity scams that were allegedly committed in 2001. And quickly, the year that Hopewell has been claiming that period that he has been claiming he was cleared, in that period it was easy peasy. Someone was saying, "Oh, UK, you cannot do this without being." It was easy peasy. Even today, it's still easy peasy. It's just that today it is no longer that easy because of fingerprints. In those days, there were no fingerprints in fingerprint databases at the airports, in the computers. And also, things were manual. And what you notice is that Jennifer Banyure herself, as she was going to delete her name, her fake name in the Gatwick airport, she even stated it so. There are no fingerprints. Once I delete this record, then no one will ever find out. So you need to realize that the response, that the report that you're getting from the British Embassy here is not a social media response. This is a response that has come after numerous complaints have been raised, and the embassy has been asked to make disclosure over this. This is not a small development. So I think I've ended. Mdara, you about to say something, or is it Martin?
I
I was
need to
about to
say,
say
I
because
need to
you
ask
cut
you something
Thank you very
before
much,
Martin.
Mudara
Simba.
speaks.
Hang on. Thank you very much.
I want to ask you something before
I
Mudara.
had not landed. I had not landed. Everyone has been given
I know
opportunity
that's
to
why
land.
that's why I'm
And
trying to say you can land your plane. Thank you very much.
thank you. And the other fraud, you cannot have more than one identity card. That in itself is big fraud. Whereas if you're an internationally acclaimed journalist, why doesn't Hopewell come to this space? We talk to him in a nice way. He tells us why he holds so many identity cards. Now, you were talking about them not trying to apprehend him, and etc., etc. Yeah, it's true, because he's using 3 identities, or 4, or 5, or 6. You don't know which one is traveling on. And the British cannot do that. You know what? I stayed in the United Kingdom for 14 years, waiting for my paperwork, the HSM highly skilled manpower program. That was what I was waiting for. My visa for that long, because it was manual. Things have been manual. It's only recently when all has been computerized. It took time to apprehend Van Makaita Sana Hopewell, especially if they talked between United Kingdom and Zimbabwe. I spent 14 years in Sinabudam, England. This is Sinabudam, UK. This is I was not an asylum seeker, whatever. But I could work. So that is how things delayed. If I could be denied coming back home for 14 years, what about someone change of names and
Yeah.
things like that?
Yeah.
Hopewell knows the system, and Hopewell right on the weaknesses of
Can,
the system.
can
But
I,
now,
can I also speak
Martin,
now?
please wait. Hang
now,
on. Allow him to land. Please
now
allow him to land his plane. Thank you.
what we are doing now here now, right now, yourself, everyone included, we are actually exposing Hopewell, and we are saving our country. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
mutombotaura izvozvo oda nomudhara inini ndakambonyorerwa tsamba. I remember when I was some about 10 or 13 years ago, when I was now upgrading my status in the UK to become a permanent. Do you know that I got a letter instead of me getting my new documents? I got a letter from the Home Office that was addressed to a child who was said to be my child, with a Congolese woman. you know,
You
from
see?
their computer. Yes, from their computers.
So,
I had to scream.
Simba, not as usual.
Almost.
Simba, not as usual.
ini ndakabatsirwa na former minister of health kana muchiziva anonzi Patricia Hewitt, angari Leicester East here, ndiye akanibatsira using my parliamentary privilege many submissions where it took 3 or 4 response yakauya within 3 weeks. So Hopewell knows the system.
All right, it's okay, so it's fine. Anyways, Simba, it's fine. Simba, you can offer your submission and then we can move on. Thank you.
Yeah, I think I'd landed. I was just simply saying that UK can be it's so easy. The systems can be rigged so easily, and the documentary that you have there, the lady that Hopewell encouraged last year to compromise airport security, that woman.
Martin, please close your mic. Martin, please close your mic. It's bringing feedback. Thank you, Martin. Please close. Thank you.
So the evidence, research. You might want to research on the documentary. I think I have to post the link to the documentary here, so you can rewatch. You can watch it. It's a full 1-hour documentary. And the woman that Hopewell encouraged to compromise Gatwick Airport database last year, that woman who also changed her name, who's also running under a different name, she became a British citizen on a fake name. That's how weak right now. In the last 6 years, she's now a British citizen. She wormed her way up.
Simba,
so
hang
it's
on.
so easy.
Hang on. So the thing is, hang on. I have to read my inbox. People feel uncomfortable because they're saying
no.
They believe. Hang on. I want to say
I
what
think it won't be fair, but it won't be fair if these people are speaking in the inbox.
All right.
Because it's an open space, open mic. Anyone can
And
come
it's not
here.
just space, hot seat. It's not just space.
Yeah, so let's open mic people. Let them blow out. Let them say what they want. Say. I think it's important for us to have a democratic atmosphere where everyone is is scrutinized also publicly. Yeah, and including myself, by the way. People should also because I'm also very human. I can also make mistakes.
Thank you for saying that, because I think they're afraid because it's your space.
Kana vatori afraid ngavabveka ngavatombobva panapa because panapa pamunhu wese anouya panapa this is a news network. It's not a private space. This is not my own space. This is a company. This is a media company, and so people come here and they blow out. This is for news purposes, not for chit chats or agenda setting. Okay. Right. I don't know who was next now. I think I'm done with this.
Okay. Thank you very much, Simba. Thank you very much. So we're gonna have I think it was ABM. He wanted to rebut. ABM.
I have a question before you go to ABM.
No, man. Keep quiet, Martin.
No, that's a simple question.
Martin, wait. Martin, I said wait. He wanted to rebut what Simba was saying. We'll come back to you. Thank you very much.
Right. I've been trying to mention one thing about the fact that Hopewell has not stepped foot in the UK in a very long time, and there is a reason for that. I don't know if somebody knows better, but please, somebody tell me when the last time Hopewell was in the UK, because if these allegations and if these things happened on UK soil, then the moment he gets there, he'll get arrested. A good
ABM,
example is
right now, Hopewell lives in England. Okay,
come on
he actually
now.
lives
Can I
there.
just okay? Hopo lives in Chisipiti. Okay, he's got a house in
Okay,
Chisipiti,
he sold
and
that space. He sold that house. Thank you.
he did.
Yeah, he did. It was public knowledge. Yeah, thank you.
So Hopo is living in the UK right now.
Yes.
Well, then there you go. It's only a matter of time, right? Because we know that Chris Brown was just recently arrested in the UK for an incident that happened back in, I think, 2020. So if these things are 100% true, it's only a matter of time until he gets arrested. Because all of these allegations happened in the UK, whether it's Tete Rasta, whether it's Bosalani, whether it's well, not Comfort. Comfort, I think it's the United States. But those are the certain things. It's just
I
Buddha.
think ABM you might need to upgrade your knowledge a little bit because it looks like in terms of residency, location, and the like, I think you are a bit behind on that. You might need to
Right,
catch up a bit. Yeah.
and I'll take that, but then that does not negate everything else that I say. That I think like if everything like Chete Rasta is in the UK, right? There's Botsalani, there's other people that we've heard and I've been seeing over the years about Hopel's transgressions, and if it is all true, then he's gonna be arrested,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah.
if
So I think if that's gonna happen, what happens is I don't want to comment over such an area because it is beyond me, and I think you know how legal things work. But if I was going to arrest, let's say I'm a police officer, I'm going to arrest Wickner, for instance. It has to be case by case. So right now, for instance, South Africa, I'm sure now can arrest Wickner because there's now a pending case. Yeah,
Yes.
I'm saying South Africa can now, like because now there's something that is like a real pending case. You get it? I'm just using that as an example.
Yeah. True,
But
true,
another
true,
thing that
true.
I also wanted
We
to say,
rush them.
folks, you need to understand the mentality of people who do mass scams are they have confidence that you don't have. And I won't mention the name, but there is someone who is called who is got a certain name who runs a certain country. And one thing that you notice about that person is that that person even became a whole president, ended up being a whole president of a country. And when you check at that person, you notice that person was not anything. All that person was just a confident person. They're just confident. People who are confident, they tend to always make it. And so, no, I'm saying they make it in terms of fooling people that there's nothing that is happening and that they are not nothing will happen to them. They have a certain, like, it's like their conscience is seared with a hot iron. So I think this is the challenge that happens with and understanding the characters or the Wicknell characters, for instance. Vanhu vane confidence. Yeah. Unaona munhu asi achitoda South Africa ichito announce so, like right now South Africa announced that, oh, this guy, he did money laundering, he transferred this money to his personal account, blah, 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 blah. But you see the person going again tomorrow posting pictures of him wearing a golden watch.
Simba,
Yeah.
can I ask you something about that?
Yeah.
About this whole week? No,
All right.
it almost seems
ABM, you
like
can ask him a question, but then we need to
no,
move on to
no.
other
He said
speakers.
okay. Hospital, you can kamisa ana nditika. Ati okay in one night, amana. Do you not think that it seems like black people are just programmed to hate any black man that makes money? It is always a conspiracy. There
I've
is
seen
always
about it, my friend. That is
no. I'm
what
not
I told you.
talking to you,
Mota
Martin.
yako iri
I'm
kuya,
not
mota
talking
iri
to
kuya,
you.
nyarara, mota iri kuya.
Please, thank you very much. Let's respect
Yeah,
the
no,
space.
and I was just
Thank you.
interacting. I was just interacting with Simba, and I'm hoping that it just, but it's just a side note that it just seems like any black person that makes money, there's always a conspiracy. But then if it's white, then it must be right. But if it's black, oh, there must be something. Why do you think that is so?
They are no longer
All right,
white
all right.
people
I
running
think
the
maybe
affairs
Simba
of
may,
Zimbabwe.
hang on,
But
Martin. Okay,
I've got a
Martin,
question.
wait, please.
Before you
Okay,
cut
land your
me,
plane, please. No.
15 seconds. 15 seconds.
Okay.
Question. My question is that what's the problem with the Fadzai Mahera? Why?
No, man. Like, what are you
I
talking
don't
about, bro?
know.
This is not what we're talking about. Hold on, put your hand up. And I was just asking Simba a simple question. So keep quiet. You don't have to talk just because you heard my beautiful voice. All right. So, Simba, ndingokubvunzawo kuti why is it so?
Zimai right now, I think is offline, so it's okay. You can't. So I think when he comes back online, we can answer that. But Martin, please just answer your question because you keep interrupting. Ask your question and then we can move on. Thank you.
Well, there is no question that he's asking.
What's the problem with the Fadzai Mahera? Because I always see Simba criticizing the Fadzai Mahera. He left the parliamentary things, those things after
Okay.
2022.
Right. Can we?
And
Okay. Yeah.
I've always heard that
Martin,
we
hang on. Martin, wait.
and
So,
it shows abuse.
Simba, Simba, can you hear us? Hello.
Yes, I can hear. I can hear.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, great. Okay.
I'm just going to ask Martin. Martin, can we not divert because you're bringing something else? I will hold a
Yeah.
session on Fadzai. I've held many sessions on Fadzai Mahere before, and but send me your number, and then I will let you know a date, and then we can come and really talk. Because we'll get diverted. We've got a very serious case here, a very
And I had asked
extremely
you a
serious
question.
case. Yeah, this
And
thing,
I
yeah,
had asked you a question.
yeah, this thing, yeah, Opo Chingono, I see kutamba naye.
And mukoma inini andakubvunzai mubvunzo manzwa here mubvunzo wandakubvunzai kana kuti madonha.
Okay, yeah, ask in short, please. Just make it 10 seconds.
Inini dambudziko rangu nderekungotarisa kungoti kana ndakunzwai muchitaura nezvanana Chivayo nezvavanhu vane mari kuZimbabwe ka it almost seems like mukutaura makagadha white supremacy because mukaona munhu mutema ane mari then it must be bad, then there must be a conspiracy, but then if it's white then it's right. Why is it so panyaya iyoyo? Because, and I understand Hopo akatengwa nevarungu ndosaka ari protected aniti, but why is it journalism yekuZimbabwe inongoti munhu wese munhu mutema ane mari anobva anzi he must have gotten that money in a nefarious way.
Rwanda project, solar project.
I'm not talking to you, Martin.
Hey, Martin, please stop
Okay,
interjecting, or we may drop you. Please allow. Thank you.
Yeah, could we try not to divert, because I only mentioned Wicknell because he's just someone who is accused. And I think we'll have a separate session for Wicknell, specifically for Wicknell. Yeah, if
No, I did not mention. I said that since you mentioned Wicknell, but I'm just saying in general, it just seems like
yeah, I think it's a whole.
people.
You're bringing a big subject there that I think requires us to explore the context, both the content and the context, and not lose out our line of thought. Yeah.
Right. So the only reason I say that is because Hopewell is a darling of white people. All right. He is coddled by white people, and that's why he feels untouchable. And this is why he even does the things he does to women, because he knows that he's got the protection from the people with the
All right,
complexion.
60 seconds to land. Thank you.
Right. And this is ultimately what it's about. Like, if we're talking journalism, if we're talking about everything, Hopeful is a journalist, and he's been abusing our women, all right? And he's being coddled by white supremacy, right? Just because he speaks about issues that always uphold white people over black people. He'll label Zimbabwe as a dictatorship, as a whatever, and everything. And this is why he's so protected, right? You
All right.
cannot touch him.
All right. Thank you very much, my brother. Thank you very much. Respectful. Research. Research. Can you take the mic? You have your research. Research. Okay. You can't hear me. Research. Hello. Research. Okay.
Research, we can't hear you.
All right. It's fine. Okay. Brighton.
Hello?
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay.
Yes. Thank you very much for Simba there. It wants to make sure that we streamline our discussion. It's good that you are warning people so that we can concentrate on Hopewell. Marriage, Vayo, maybe the other time. That is good. But still, let me come down again to the issue of Hopewell. Having different names is not an evidence that someone is criminal. So you cannot come here to tell me that because he has got several IDs, which he will say with different names, which we are not putting forward for us to see, then you convince me that it's an evidence that he is a criminal.
Okay.
No,
Okay, thank you.
that is not.
Okay, thank you.
And the other issue, let me land. The other issue is that Opio may have made a problem. Maybe he said that is approved by the UK government or police or whatever, yet he was not approved. But that is not evidence that he has stolen something. It's not an evidence of a fraud. We want you to tell us that this one complained, he launched a case, he sent to the police that it was Hopewell who was responsible for mismanaging his or her card. Hopewell right now is in the UK, and the UK, they do checks before you enter into that country. Whether it is asylum or not asylum, when there are these cases, they can be able to not allow you to go, or when you are inside, they can capture you. So it's good that, as you had said, we are waiting for the government to capture Hopewell. I'm saying this because tomorrow I may be a victim. Speaking with this particular tongue is sweet and loose and good, but at the same time, we can soil the image of someone. How can someone say
Okay.
that he has got several names?
Okay, thank you very
Yet
much.
in the
Thank
UK
you very much. Thank you
forms,
very much.
I'm landing.
Okay.
Yet in the UK forms, they will tell us, give us your name. If you had other names, write those particular names. It's
All right.
already there.
30
It's
seconds to land, and then Simba can respond. Thank you.
and therefore it is not evidence, Mda, that the change of name is fraud. Don't do that. And Simba is also responding. This is someone, whether cleared by police or not cleared, it's not evidence of fraud. Maybe it's evidence of that Oppo is lying.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay, so number one, you've got two things there. Number one, you mentioned that changing names is not evidence of fraud. Can you please flip into the actual context? Hopewell himself is the one who has said that he cannot be a scammer. He cannot be a fraudster because his name change was cleared by the British Embassy. He has said it himself. He said, look, I was police cleared by the British Embassy. And this letter that you are seeing here, it is in response to Hopewell specifically. It is not me who said so. It is not anyone else. It is him himself who has stated that his defense for not being a fraudster is that the embassy wrote to me a letter and said, I am not a fugitive from justice. That is his only defense, nothing else. So you can make your conclusions as to what exactly the embassy, of course, they're not going to say, the British government, if you are familiar, or you're somewhere in the UK, this is how they communicate. They will tell you that we will not comment, do not comment on individual cases. So whenever they respond, they always respond broadly, only broadly. So the only people who will communicate on individual cases are politicians when necessary. However, when the Home Office see that there's been misrepresentation of their name and of something that in itself will be misleading in a prejudicial way, they rush. So as you can see, they actually responded within a month. In fact, they responded within just a few days. I was on the phone with them, and then they told me, look, they would act on it, and then later on printed that. Now,
Simba, I have a
last
question
thing,
for you.
let me ask, let me answer. No, let me answer the last question there. You cannot enter the UK and come out without being checked when all these matters are. You actually do that. That is actually what happens. You need to understand. Also, number three, you stated that you can soil someone's reputation. Soil whose reputation? A journalist, their first and foremost calling is accountability, particularly in starting with who they are. So there's no soiling here. If there's any soiling, if there was any soiling, it is Hopo himself who has soiled himself because he has not told the truth about who he is. So there's no soiling here. We're doing simple background check. Who are you? This is the first question that you would ask someone who comes to your company to look for a job. Who are you? Then if you find that, oh, they've got 3 IDs with 3 different names, you then ask them, but how come you've got 3 names? You told us that you are Jack something. Like in this case, you told us that you are Hopo Rugo Chingono, but we're also seeing Hopo Chingono. Chingono, sorry. We're also seeing Hopo Mukusha. 3 and IDs of 3. So who are you really? How can we trust you if you come here that you are not going to be signing checks in someone else's name, and then you then receive the money in the other name, and then you approve
Yeah,
with the other name?
but we are not there to destroy each other. Opio, what he does in UK, I don't mind. But if he does anything in Zimbabwe, I get consent. That 2023 election, when he commented as a journalist, when he wanted to make good advice, that was not a job of a journalist to destroy any of such journalists. Simple.
All right. Thank you very much, Martin. Thank you very much, Simba. I want you just to make it clear to everyone here because I can't read everything that's in my inbox, but I want you to make sure that your issue with Hopewell is not personal because people are saying Kuti, like
No. Hot seat, please. Don't read things in the inbox. Let them come here and speak. I'm an employer. Okay, so please never use personal because that would really be in condescending. I'm a media investor. I've invested in business, and this fella who's got 3 names was he was allowed to misrepresent many things, and he has destroyed parliament democracy. I'm an investor. I've invested in. I didn't just jump into journalism from Polytechnic. I've put in money, and I did this for the good of the Zimbabwean people. I've also invested in strengthening our parliamentary democracy, which this man who has got 3 IDs has destroyed. So I'm not joking. I'm not messing about here. Hopo Chingono, iwewe, ndiri kutaura kwauri ndoziva kuti uri kuteerera. Ndiri kutokuudza izvozvi, so nyaya haisi kuzopera. And handisi ndega, kune mazita makuru akakutarisa izvozvi. So the ambassador of Britain, who you have been misrepresenting, whose office you have been misrepresenting, is listening and following these broadcasts. You are supposed, I'm commanding you, Hopewell, I'm commanding you to come and account for who you are to the Zimbabwean people. No inboxes. come and speak. And I will not stop. Tonight will not be the first. It will not be the last space. I'm going to be holding these. I'm going to be holding all these broadcasts. And this thing is going to go big from hereafter. Because what is at stake right now is not small. The man who you, Hopewell, assisted to rob a £1 million property last year and only managed to be saved after I exposed your scam that you were assisting Jennifer Banyur and team in August last year. That man deserves respect. No inboxes. Please, hot seat, never again read inboxes that represent this name change scammer. It will be damage your own reputation, because this is not a joke. I didn't get into journalism from the bush. I invested. And this thing that we're dealing with right now, this is what has destroyed not just Zimbabwe, but many countries. This is the reason why, one of the major reasons why I relocated to the UK was because the country had been messed up by these frauds 21 years ago, destroying industries through frauds, through identity frauds. You do one small fraud, you are destroying a whole economy. You do more damage than Mnangagwa because you are using journalism. Mnangagwa is not a journalist. So you do more damage on the economy than Mnangagwa. And this is where people need to get this. This is where Hopewell stands to be. He has to be account now for himself, because now he's this evidence that's coming from the British embassy here. It suggests that he's way more corrupt, way more damaging to economies, not one economy, but multiple economies, because he uses journalism. Mnangagwa is not in journalism. But he comes in there, he's got 3 IDs, 3 whole IDs, with totally different names, and doesn't want to be accountable to the public. And that is not small. And Zimbabwe, this is really dangerous. This is where it starts. This is where an economy and how an economy is destroyed. So,
All right. Thank you
right,
very much,
yeah.
Simba. Thank you very much. We understand that now. And the
I
only
think
reason.
Mdara wanted to say something. Maybe Mdara, because there's something about parliamentary democracy. You know, I've traveled around the world. I nearly lost my life. I remember when I traveled to Eastern Europe 6 years ago, fighting to strengthen parliamentary democracy. And I am the only journalist who was banned by the Parliament of Zimbabwe following my exposure of Jacob Mudenda. In history, there's no other journalist. It's been not been an easy walk. So, Mdara, can you just give us 1.5 minutes? You wanted to say something, please. Yeah.
Neno ndiripoona noga usati kangaroo.
Mdara vanga register. Mdara G. Mdara G, are you there? Oh dear. I think Mdara
Oh,
G.
he's not the BS
Yeah,
boy.
Yeah,
thank you very much.
Hey, please, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
You see,
And I think we might need to be closing, folks. It's now 11 p.m. in Zimbabwe. I think we need to start landing. Maybe Mdara Tipeka 2 minute, can you? And then
gentlemen,
yeah.
when we talk of destruction or destroying parliamentary democracy, you probably not know kuti parliament ndio vanopasa malaws, and laws because as we speak in Zimbabwe are kuitwa circumvent. That process is being circumvented because we do not have that in Zimbabwe. And ari kuuya everything chiri kuuya neZANU-PF via a statutory instrument. I don't know whether makambonzwa ma-SI, statutory instrument. You'd find kuti so many additives to laws will not pass through parliament because that has been stifled by people like Hopewell Chinono. We're talking about multiple ID cards. Multiple ID card in itself is a huge scam. Imagine President wenyu, Comrade Emerson Mnangagwa vachitravela ne3 ma-passports or vachitravela ne4 ma-passports vachibuda pama-borders. What would the whole world see in him? It will see fraud. Some people are saying, oh no, Hopewell is now living in the UK. Ndozvatiri kutaura kuti let's go on this case deeper and let's see what will happen, because right now it's very difficult even for for the British government to apprehend him, because arikushandisa, you'd never know kuti apinda ne-ID ipi. Of course anouya kuspace, but police inenge ichitarisa, as Simba was saying, inenge ichitarisa his record on entry. Anenge akanzi Hopewell Mukusha, atopinda saHopewell Mukusha. And yet we've got a case against Hopewell Chinono. The British government will identify that yes, there is Hopewell here, but it's not Hopewell Chinono, it's Hopewell Mukusha. They will let him like that. That's what it is, and that's how it is. Well, tunes like a wrong case. What you don't know, Varume, is that Zimbabwe kurukushupikwa. And kurukushupikwa nevanhu vakafanana na Hopewell. Anotaura kuti ini ndadonata medical equipment kuma hospitals kupi. Unopinda nayo sei usina government, usina ningi, because pane anonzi duty free certificates anopuwa, anoenda unotaurira kuna Chamisa kuti ndauya nema-donations for what? Chamisa aziya kuti abva kupi. Kuda kunyudza Chamisa. Pane anonzi duty free certificate. Kana ukauya donation yako haifanirwi kuti ibatwe paborder kana kuningirikira kupaya duty. Inofanirwa kuya straight, unotoenda unogara, and that is determined by ZANU-PF. ZANU-PF will tell you that this should be authorized. What or that duty-free certificate went on a border, and then but Hope will say things as if those to him it's very easy bringing in stuff here. He is begged by ZANU-PF. I actually, if I over my dead body, Hopewell will never access opposition ever in his life. I will tell you this. Thank you very much.
All right. Wow. Thank you very much. ABM, do you want to rebut that? Thank you.
Yes, and just as a preamble, I would like to say, hot seat. I know that Simba said don't check your inbox and everything. But yeah, specifically for me, please do check your inbox. Just look for my message, all right? Yeah. Otherwise, you can ignore everybody else. So no matter what's going on with Hopo, inini Simba, inini mubunzo wangu ndiwe kuti iwewe mukomana anonzi Hopo, ungamuite sei iye uchiziva kuti anoprotectwa nevarungu, because it's clear kuti everything that he does, articles taanonyora, ma-awards aanopiwa, ndiye varungu. And it's cloaked in anti-corruption. It's cloaked in all of that. And those guys in zvanozikana nazvo zvokuti anonyora negative articles about Zimbabwe. And munhu anotoprotectwa nevarungu, because varungu vanoda kuti vagare vachizivisa vanhu kuti anything that's happening in Africa must be bad. Just like they don't talk positively about Ibrahim Traore, they won't ever talk about anything positive about Zimbabwe. So this person who has been abusing our woman now is protected by these people, because these people, just like Vanana Prince
Try
Andrew,
to land so that we can move to the next, and these are like your closing remarks. So yeah, your questions then I'll answer at the end as we close here. Thank you.
Right. These people are the same people, Vanana Prince Andrew, that have been known for abusing women. These are the same kind of people. And Hopo at this point in time, he's protected by those people, those powerful individuals that abuse young women, and they have been known, whether it's a Roman Catholic Church or whether it's a British government. whether it's the British royalty, he's protected. So how do you think that anything can come to light and any accountability can be put out?
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Thank you very much, ABM. Thank you very much for your submission. Simba will answer at the end. We have Brighton. Brighton, do you want to have any closing remarks? Brighton? Brighton? All right. Brighton? Okay, it's fine. Respectful, do you have any closing remarks before we go?
Yes, I have got some closing remarks. It's like I've been trying to scrutinize the evidence that has been given here against Hopewell. The evidence is still weak before the law to convict Hopewell. And what we are hearing are big words, but you cannot go to court and tell them that someone changed names, therefore is stolen. No, that is not going to happen. And the other issue on the ground is that the allegation that Oppo destroyed the parliamentary democracy. These are some of the issues that we cannot speak with confidence. It's just speculation, and we need to get facts on that. And if Oppo has got such power, therefore he is the second Jesus, because it's like you cannot push him to such level that he can have those powers to destroy the parliament. So I am landing by saying that whatever is being said, as time goes, ticharamba tichirangaridzana kuti asungwa here hope uya, because hatidi zvekungoramba tichingoda kusvikidzirana mhosva yatinoona kuti haipo. Ende vanhu vacho vari panapo vari kuti vakarepwa havari kuenda kupolisi, havatozotaura zviripo, vari kungodhoja somewhere, because this Twitter is not going to give justice to the people. They should go to the specific authorities. But if they go with this evidence, I don't see anything going anywhere. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And we want our co-host, Comfort Dodo. Comfort Dodo, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, sis. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to hand you the mic. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Simba. Thank you, host. Thank you, Sis Hot Seat, and all those who have contributed. I think my own parting words in reflection to what's been happening in the US with the personalities such as Puff Daddy, Puff Diddy. I call him Puff Daddy, Puff Diddy, P Diddy, yeah. Similar Daddy characters, Daddyism. Apana Singapore. You can only be protected so far, you know. The previous speaker who talked about there's no evidence. I'll give you a very good example without mentioning any names. I was with Simbash Kanza in Zambia, and one of the most amazing things happened while we were on a trip to try and stop the 2023 election. For me, in I really, really believed Putin. You know, because there was a young man who actually used to do the money laundering, the credit card fraud in Hopewell. And when the time is right, he's gonna come through. Right now, the time is not right. As someone who did not know about anything about Hopewell stuff, I was shocked to hear this young man mentioning names and mentioning he also stole it enough that he's now doing some mining stuff in our neighboring Zambian country. There's Simba and don't you worry, I don't know if I mentioned his name, but I was there. Is there anything that I benefit from No, nothing. I have nothing against the brother except the abuse of women is disgusting to me. The silencing of those women also is very disgusting to me, including the silencing of his former boss.
a very well-known journalist, may his soul rest in peace now, that he silenced on one of the first shows I knew Hopewell through, the documenting of how Justina Mkoko was abducted, and her life was saved at some point through our history, our country's history. It shows Hopewell as the hero in that documentary. What it doesn't show is how he actually stifled the voice of the very man who was paying him that time to work under him and everybody around. As someone said earlier, actually thought that Hopewell was the star. I'll give you another example. When the gold mafia came out, one of the first people to take interviews with major media stations was Hopewell Chinono. Hananyatsi, if it were me, I would have said, I am no comments, because that's not my work. But he was actually running with it, and I asked him, but why does this gentleman take my interviews on the work that he's got nothing to do with? But that's the personality. So in ending, I'll say Tete Rasta, Grace Mpulutsa, a very well trained psychiatric provider through the NHS system, has used words such as psychopath, when she describes him. She knows him very well. When they were kids, Hot City, you had many questions for me about Hopewell, which I think I gave you some answers. I'll say go to Grace Mfuruta's submission of who Hopewell Chinono is if you haven't done it. And learn from someone who knows him from childhood. You said you knew him way back, right? I don't know him like that. I tried to get to know him for a short minute. And the little that I knew was that he's inconsistently, he's consistently a liar, a pathological liar who forgets one lie from the next. This is talking on a personal level, okay? So I could say more, but I just want to say, Zimbabweans, let's cut the culture of always wanting my V11. Vanhu hatingomuke kana tingorotomoka tingotaura zvinhu, what do I benefit? I have my career, I have my family, I have my life. But what I also have is I have Zimbabwean blood flowing in me. And I fear that as a people, we're going to go back on a vicious cycle, if not worse, if we don't prevent certain personalities from getting close to the helms of power. We have to stop. We have to study people. We have to study personalities that want our girl children to call him daddy. Who's daddy? We all have our daddies. We have to actually name those. If we don't, we'll end up like nations like Nigeria, who ended up with a pathological lying rapist, Ashdifty daddy, TB Joshua. Let's not wait to be a reactive people. Let's be proactive. And I think maybe my co-host, if you allow me, someone has no consulted for a long time. I want to say, also keep your eyes open for cases such as Simbash Kanza has spoken against one upcoming preacher, Talent Farai Chiwenga. And a lot of people, including myself, didn't want to hear it because we had our own beliefs that we knew this person more than Simba. Simba, you just godo. But Simba takes his time to investigate. There's no smoke without fire. Hakuna utsi unongobuda pasina moto. So I think when you see any smoke, ask what's really going on before you start to defend what you're not sure of. Let's be a people who learn to do our own information gathering. Let us do a lot of self-studying of ourselves first, because we can't study the next person if we don't study ourselves. And then let's be people who also really, really do our own research and development work. Just researching personalities. Because social media itself, it can be used to mitigate lies. But I think when we learn to study ourselves, Isuzu Kushistada, who is Hot Seat, Who is Mdara? Who is ABM? ABM I try to study myself so that I'm so sober enough to study the next person. And then I try to do a lot of information gathering before I make conclusions.
All right.
With the last one, what's it? Before I finish, sorry. With the last one, so I want you to start doing homework. Imene munostarta what Simbachi Kanza had done work around that name, Talent Farai Chiwenga, and then go to social media and see what is latest, what is going on, and start to do your own information gathering. And then one day when we do a space here, we shall see what I'm talking about. Before we start to Pembe Zarani and calling them daddy, before we start to give people my pedestals that they don't deserve, let's study. Yeah, thank you so much. I know you gave me much more grace to speak. With that, I will give back the mic to you, Sis Watson.
Thank you very much, sis. Before we give to Zimai, I just want to just answer this. A lot of people, it's hard for them, right? Because they they want to believe Zimai, they want to believe Hopewell, right? Because these are people who all are saying they're fighting for the disadvantaged, the people Varukutambura, right? So everybody like they believe them, right? So it's uncomfortable for people to know that they don't even get along, but yet they say they're fighting for the same cause, right? What is your comment to those people?
I'll answer with a question for you. What has Hopo done for the people of Zimbabwe besides talking about how our current president and the regime is corrupt? We already know that. What has he done? As far as I'm concerned, I have not seen a single clinic. I have not seen a single dialysis machine donated by Hopewell, using all his influence that he has. The Qatar folks gave him an award. If I was in his position, I would have probably equipped a few clinics right now with medical equipment. What I've seen Hopewell do, however, is collect a bunch of awards, gallivanting, and then coming back to us and reminding us of how crappy our country is and how corrupt our current sitting president is. The last time Hulu, myself, and Simba tried to do an investigation of a clinic that he had lied to the people that he had opened a clinic serving the elderly. There was no such clinic. To which, when he learned that Hulu was going to go on the ground and check the clinic out. So actually, if we were just criticizing Hopewell, we could correct ourselves. He then changed his words again. He flip-flopped and said there was no such clinic. He gave some excuse around time AGIE. So what does Hopewell Chinono actually do? I'll tell you what Simbachi Kanza has done. Simbachi Kanza has facilitated things like my contributions to Primrose Ruoja, the only first facial reconstruction surgery survivor. It was because of Simba's work that I actually connected with that sister. It was because of Simba that he kind of pushed me and supported me to bring that sister. That sister who came when I brought her here on Delta Airlines, he could not even look at the air hostesses because she was so embarrassed with how her face looked. I lived with that sister in my home. I'm telling you what I've done. On the outside, right, it would look like we are supposed to be aligned with Hopo. He's talking about anti-corruption. And what's it? Let me also tell you something. A caveat is there's something called a non-profit complex where some people will talk about a cause that tickles the ears of the masses. Every Zimbabwean knows there's corruption. So when Hopo talks about corruption in Zimbabwe, we're all excited about it. But have you ever paused and asked your question, how has him talking about the corruption in Zimbabwe benefited any Zimbabwean? I like to see action. I'll tell you about what Simba has done. Simba Rashish Kanza flew with me to Zambia, and we tried to meet with the attorney who was supposed to be working with Atendai BT to try and stop the 2023 election
Please
from happening.
Please verify, was it your own funds or was it sponsored? Because we always
my
realize.
own funds. my own funds. Primrose Roach, I came here, my own funds. She lived here with my children and I, my own funds. And my jurisdiction in terms of funding, and Piwi Mari Yakubatsira any Zimbabwean from any funder. I don't have those connections yet. Any work that you see me doing in Zimbabwe, it's from my own pocket. My own pocket. That is my tithe. And Badari tithe ku church. Ndobadra tithe back to Zimbabweans. So that's what I want to know. What has Hopo done? On the other hand, I've actually heard there's some of his nieces, Rogara Mumkuku, South Africa, and he's not helping even his own family. Let's start there. When you bring me here, sis, what Hopo has done beyond making noise and talking and gaslighting all of you, I will have more respect for the guy. When Primrose Rocha was coming here, when she came here, I was still on talking terms with Hopo. I asked him, can you please make this sister viral? Because she's got two sons at home. One is an amazing soccer player. Can you use your platform to make sure this sister's story is known?
So when he's talking about
Hopo
that,
did not.
when he says that you're an agent, you were sent to kill him.
Why is he still alive? If I was sent to kill him, why is he still alive then? Right? I could have finished him. Why is he still alive? We don't have Dewama Vinga here. We don't have some other activists who we don't have Itai Zamara. Why is Hopo Chinono still alive? If I was in his refrigerator, if I was near his drink, why is he still alive?
And why is the government going after Geza and Nyoka Mabuno and not Hopo?
You see.
And yet he beats so many things up there and appears as if there's he's a victim of Mnangagwa. But I'm sorry for disrupting comfort. I was just here.
No, but it's fine.
Yeah.
I like the way you ask questions for clarity.
Yeah. So Hopewell, as you can see with the Botswana example, when Hopewell was going after Job Sikala to confuse and compromise Honorable Job Sikala, the Botswana journalists, one of them, as you can see, is Emang Matapira there. Zimbabweans, you need to put this in history. I've posted here. She is even confirming in that post there, that Facebook post, if you go below, where she says, thank you, my friend, for the kind words and the vote of confidence. That young lady that you see there, that young, beautiful lady, contacted me 5 years ago. She's a total stranger. I've never met her. And little did I know that I was preparing her and her people to remove the Hopo Chinono of Botswana and expose him 5 years ago. What I'm doing right now is what I did for the Botswana people. And she is now the secretary of the president of Botswana. Right now as we speak, she has jumped from being just a mere journalist straight right to the top. She's now the George Charamba of Botswana, of the world's number 2 diamond producing country. I think it's number 1 diamond producing country, actually, Botswana. Next only to Russia. That young lady that you see there, they've managed to remove the ruling party after we assisted them to expose and disable the Hopewell Chinono, the media scammer who is called Frank Museveni, who was also going after Honorable Job Sikala from Botswana. You see what these media scammers do? They look for people that they can confuse, people who are like a nucleus of mobilization. At that time, Job Sikala was part of the CCC and he was a powerful force. So the same time that Hopo was going after Scala, that media scammer, and that is the same time that I also then moved and I exposed him. I could have exposed Hopo Chimono immediately soon after that, but you Zimbabweans, particularly the opposition, I started praising this character who's got 3 different IDs, 3 IDs with 3 different names. And look at you now. You are now behind. Botswana has now removed the ruling party. They've now changed their democracy, but they didn't do it in a humiliating way either. They didn't kill anyone. Masisi is free to even criticize the new president. They've got a wonderful country. Look at them right now. Who doesn't want to go to Botswana today? Why? Because a Hopo Chingono character was stopped from compromising Honorable Job Sikala. You Zimbabweans, you on this space, you are allowed You gave power to Hopewell Chinono to compromise your politicians, to compromise Sikala. Look at the damage. You even allowed Chinono to compromise a Vice President, Constantino Chiwenga. I don't know why Geza doesn't talk about that. Because he even said so. He compromised the Vice President. He deceived the Vice President that he would cover for he used his whatever journalism badge to say, look, you can go after the civil society, go after the civil society, visit them so that you can remove tension from the country, political tension. A whole journalist confused the vice president. Before that time, Chiwenga was not that violent. I'm not saying he was perfect, but he was not that violent. He wasn't even cruel to his own wife. But look at him soon after he met Hopewell. Look at what happened to your own vice president. And if you want to see, how Hopewell is doing this, is compromising people, look at how he himself popularized Christopher Muchangwa. Christopher Muchangwa's UK audio accusing the same Vice President Chiwenga. He himself did it on his Twitter account. Now, this time, that time he was appearing as if he's Chiwenga's friend. This time he's Chiwenga's enemy. He's popularizing gossip that Muchangwa is spreading in the UK, right? And then soon after that, the same Hopewell Chinono he creates WhatsApp chats. He spreads a lie that Muchangwa has fled to Dubai to confuse Geza, to confuse the people. Can't you see one person is all behind this Kuvira 2020? One person.
Simba, we need to be sober. We try to overwhelm Mama Zimbabweans because we are too traumatized. So it will get power bit by bit. But I wanted to also, for Hot Seat and the others who might be here who are not yet awake. Simba, do you remember when we had a CCC convention in DC and
Yes.
and Hopo and myself were on the same panel?
I don't.
What happened with Hopewell? What happened? What did I call you and tell you was happening?
Yes, you did tell me
Hopewell.
actually that you were assisting Hopewell because he was ill, and I disapproved that. I even told you stay away from Hopewell. Hopewell could compromise your security. Remember?
Right, and I didn't listen to your advice. If I was an agent, I wasn't driving in DC. I took an Uber. I went and got Hopewell some soup because he had food poisoning. Could have maybe somebody even tried to poison him or whatever, but he was very, very sick. And this is after Andinyepera, Gudana, single, and I found out that he had a long-term girlfriend who was an economist in the UK, and we had a falling apart. But I am the kind of person. Today, I'll tell you a little bit something personal about me. Simba, I think you might not agree with me with this, but I want people to know me a little bit. The man who is the father of my kids, my ex-husband, he treated me so badly. That's how I end up in the work that I do. It was abusive. But I also acknowledge that he's the father of my babies. And I respect and love him. Will always love him. When I talk to Hulu, my brother, I love you. When I start talking to you, I'll tell you I love you. Because our men don't get that a lot. But I think Zimbabweans, this is really abnormal. So they will try to twist. Kuti, you're saying you love them. I took care of Hopewell Chinono because
I've said I love you, my sister, but I've never even kissed you.
Simba, all the time. That's how I am.
I've
Hi,
never,
love. Hi, honey.
I treat your kids as my own kids.
Absolutely.
I've met those kids. I've been with them. And we sang
in London that time.
And so for me, this is family. Every person in my circles is family. Every child is my child. Yeah.
And I treated Hopewell like family, even after what happened, because I have a lot of grace to forgive. Today, I will tell you, every time my ex-husband calls me, he says, "Mama, I love you."
Sis, what do you say about the screenshots that he shared?
That's what I'm going with. Those screenshots.
No, I think those screenshots, to be honest with you, those screenshots
were
half. No, I don't want you to answer. I wouldn't want you to answer the things that way.
They were half true.
No.
Yeah.
They were because he has never. I am demanding Comfort, next time when Hopewell is
Yeah.
around. By the way, Comfort, I never told you this. Hopewell to me is an employee on my project. Okay. And which I invested in. And you were there, you saw me on that project. And I spent a lot of money. And so because of that, now that it has become clear from the embassy that he has been falsifying his identity issues when he has got 3 different identities, and also he has a very very serious allegations of money laundering. So what I'm asking, I'm not asking, I'm demanding. Hopo Chingono, do not demand. Hopo Chingono. And you know me when I say demand, how far I go. I don't just go social media. So I won't say other things that I'm doing. I'm demanding you, Hopo Chingono, to account to the Zimbabwean public. Who are you? Because the embassy has said you lied. Wakanyepa iwe. They told me over the phone, and now they've even made it publicly that they do not do at all, contrary to what you have misleading Zimbabweans. Some as late as last year to commit frauds in UK as late as last year. They've made it clear that they never did a police clearance on you. They never issued any fugitive from justice, non-fugitive from justice status declaration as you claimed. So, Hopo Chingono, I am demanding from you, Comfort, if you find him in any space, I'm not stopping. And people who know me, Comfort, from young age, know that I don't stop. When I find
I know.
wrongdoing, when I was 22 years old, at Jameson Hotel, 23 years old at Jameson Hotel in 2003, I stopped Zimra, the tax authority, from taxing insurance claims. Literally stopped them. For more than 10 years, they couldn't tax Zimbabweans. They only started taxing people after I'd left Zimbabwe. How did I do that? I have a determination when I see abuse. That is how I guess maybe I was trained, how I was born. I allow, particularly when someone is in this state of scamming people of identity issues. So, opportunity, I'm demanding from you, you must account to the Zimbabwean public. Make this clear, and the Zimbabweans, you need to. If you don't do the Zimbabweans, you are in trouble. Look at what I did for the Botswana people. Look at them. Look at this young lady here. Look at what she has become now. She is now the secretary of the president of Botswana. Look at what she's confirming there. The day when she contacted me, they were asking for my assistance to expose and disband the opposition of Botswana, who was also baying to control and compromise Honorable Job Seeker. At the same time, Hopo was Chingono himself was doing it. Look at what they got, and look at what they have done with the little that we contributed to them. Look at Botswana today. Look at how sweet the Botswana new president's leadership is. Why? Because people were serious about dealing with a scammer. That their Hopo Chimo is called Frank Museni. And so Zimbabwe, this is what you can have. In landing, maybe in closing, I want to say this is what you folks can have if you really want it. If you want a country, you need to deal with scammers. Scam confuse the whole. Look at how this scammer confused you Zimbabweans when you were doing your Geza projects in March. Him and Chris Muchangwa and Shepard Bushiri spokesman Maynard Manyor. Look at what they did. The two of them, two people exchanging notes and tricks to confuse the masses.
And they started distracting
Yeah,
everybody. They're good at
distracting so that they
distracting.
can laugh at you. And then after that, you come back and say, oh, no, there was a mistake. And you don't even know what is getting paid soon after that. Because Zimbabwe, this is how
Nice, Simba.
you lose your country here. Hi.
Simba, I'm sorry, hot seat. I think that but this is very. I want to ask Zimbabweans. First, let me say something to you guys. That Zimbabwe inyika inodiwa nemsika vanhu. that our country, I know we are so we are such a we are such energetically we are a country that is that vibrates on a high frequency. I don't know if some of you will understand that. When you step your feet in Zimbabwe, you feel something energetically different. That's the reason why our land is so fertile, endowed with all the minerals. I just want you to hold that. Then, because of that, there's no one man anongo sheva ndakuzvita award winning abuse at the very source of his existence, which is women, who's going to make it in Zimbabwe. I'll say that. I'll repeat. There's no one man, human being. I don't care if he's got 8 million followers. There's no man who's going to hold hostage all of Zimbabweans. So our freedom is coming. But I also want to tell you that there's no coincidence. There's no coincidence that the things that have led me up to this point to speak up. I was the first whistleblower. Kuna Simba kuti mukomana anaomira mushe. Simba thought I was catching on feelings. I was hurt. Abakadzi, wakarwadziswa or whatever. He actually dismissed that, and I'll tell you. I'm going in front of all of you. That was the assumption. There's no coincidence. Everything that has happened is in divine order for you to see. Now the question is whether you want to see or you want to keep ignoring. The thing I want to say after that submission is do you what else would Hopewell Chinono be talking about if it wasn't about the corruption in Zimbabwe that we already know exists? He's built a brand around talking about our problems. He gets paid. He has built alliances around the globe and got awards and built a name for himself around talking about your problems. Without the problems, talking about our problems, what else is Hopewell Chinono known for? Besides stifling his former boss's work and taking credit for other people's work. What else is he known for? What else has he done? Tell me any clinic that he has opened using his influence. Tell me any books that he has donated for children in Zimbabwe using his influence. Project, which I think
just a foretaste of what is our delight. For this is just a foretaste of what is our delight. For this is just a foretaste of what is our delight. For this is just a foretaste of what is our delight. For this is just a foretaste of what is our delight. Yes, in this and those is so joyous.
Tasbihwa kumangumo hekutambutswa na emansonk moni emanyati Tasbihwa kumangumo hekutambutswa na